his waffles, maple syrup dripping from his fake rub. Who did he see when he heard who was there? Now it seems that he should.
All right, everybody, welcome out to the Lager Room Guys Craft Beer Show. It is Tuesday, June the 3rd, 2025. Jersey Johnny coming at you. With me, as always, is none other than Mr. Beer Samurai. Say hello, Mr. Eating, Mr. Samurai.
Oh, no.
Mr. Eater, Mr. You're eating eggs.
Consuming. I'm eating eggs.
You're eating eggs. Why are you eating eggs?
It's National Egg Day.
Happy National Egg Day, everyone.
It's
For those,
by the
for those who
National
celebrate.
Egg Commission of the United States.
I was going to say it's not a Pastafarian holiday.
No,
right?
no, it's not. It's actually a real
Brought
one.
you by the Egg Council, if you
No,
will.
I don't know if it is or not. Probably. Yeah, I've got made some scrambled eggs. It's weird because we have a mutual friend that when he makes eggs, they're never over easy. They're always over medium.
Okay.
And he never makes scrambled eggs. They're always rustic eggs.
Rustic eggs. Yeah, they gotta have a little mush, a little give to them to.
Rustic egg. I was like, what do you leave the eggshells in your house? It's rustic.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand. You can't just do eggs normal.
What's your favorite? You know what? Oh, we'll ask the guest when he gets on. But what's your favorite egg?
My favorite egg?
Style.
Oh, I was going to say, because I really do like...
Not one specific egg you had once 35 years ago. I'm just saying.
Yeah, there was this quail egg once. Oh, you mean cooking method?
Cooking preparation type.
Yeah, it depends on what it is. If it's going over corned beef hash, I want them...
Well, no, look, we all like all different kinds of eggs, right? But if you had to pick, if somebody said you can have one style of egg forever and no other ones, which would it be?
Scrambled.
Scrambled?
Yeah, because there's so much you can put cheese on it. You can put hot sauce on it. So much you can do with scrambled.
Yeah, I mean, I'm the same as you. I have what style I like over corned beef hash or this or that or whatever. But if I had to pick one, it's poached actually.
But the thing is, I do I cook a lot of my own breakfasts. Poaching an egg is I've never got the technique down with the whirlpool and the vinegar and to get a really good perfect poached egg. I had a poacher when I lived in Morris Plains.
Yeah, but they were taking your eggs from you.
Yes, they were illegally. I might add.
Illegally, right? Yeah.
Sons of bitches. But those were good. I do like scrambled eggs. It's nice and easy.
Oh, they are easy. They're the easiest egg to make. You just crack it, whip it up, in, turn, off, eat. Done.
And then the whole thing about it is, by saying out my favorite scrambled eggs, every time I screw up an omelet, I can say, well, I meant to do that because scrambled eggs are my favorite.
There you go.
Yeah. So
there you go.
Just saying.
I make a good omelet. Make a good omelet.
Okay. Well,
I didn't need any, recognition for that. I was just stating a fact.
Okay. No, I was over here looking for the
omelet I made you.
The good omelet medal. I can't find it.
Gotcha.
So,
is it in a box in storage?
It's probably in a box in storage.
Mm-hmm.
I had won that medal a while ago, but because of your statement, I can give it up. I can repurpose it and award you for your omelet making skills.
Thank you, sir.
Do you do that whole thing when you like on every fucking television show ever? Anytime anyone makes an omelet, they've got to chop up a little chives and sprinkle a little chives on top.
I could no. I cook it and eat it.
Yeah, that's it. I cook it, eat it. I don't need to.
If I was having people over and I was trying to. I might sprinkle a little. I'm not going to cut up little chives or whatever. If the only thing I would put on is, maybe, anything that was left over. Well, anything that was left over from what I put in it, sprinkle on top, cheese, onions, whatever. But
Spam.
I
like Spam omelets.
Spam, pork roll, Taylor ham.
Yeah, well, Spam is so close to pork roll.
It is.
It's just basically can-shaped Spam.
It's can-shaped pork roll. Exactly. Yeah. It's got a little different flavor to it, but not much.
Yeah,
not much. So, all right. What you call it? Before we finish the rest of our days, I think we're all thirsty, and I think our guest is too. So why don't we bring him on?
We also did have a comment on favorite egg styles as well.
We did.
Yeah.
Okay. Brian Boak, Sunny Side Up. Sunny Side Up.
That's the best thing for over corned beef hash.
Sunny Side Up is perfect for corned beef hash, 100%. Yes, it is. So, all right, let's get our guest on.
Yeah, and ask about.
I know what his eggs are, and then we can drink and then continue with the show. How's that?
Let's bring on the egghead.
All right, let's bring in the egghead. Please welcome to the show, Mr. John Staradumsky. How are you, sir?
Guys, it's exciting to be here.
I was waiting for something along those lines.
See what you did there. See what you did there. John is with us tonight. Coming on, we're gonna do well more on what we're gonna do in a little bit. Classic beer styles, but we'll get into that in a little bit. But John,
John Eggs. Weigh in on eggs.
John Egg Staradumsky. There you go.
I like them scrambled. In fact, this was breakfast this morning. Scrambled with spinach and artichoke dip, which has some Parmesan in it, folded in.
Nice.
And then
I've never tried that. That makes sense.
That's interesting. Yeah.
it's almost kind of like a Florentine, but it's the artichokes add another dimension, and it's easy. And the cheese, the Parmesan cheese. Usually, I get a big tub of it at Costco, and then
the spinach artichoke dip at Costco is very good.
Yeah, and it works well. And then I usually put a little Frank's on top, red sauce.
My grandmother used to fold cream cheese into her scrambled eggs.
Yeah,
Frank's Red Hot. I put that shit on everything.
Me too.
But I like Tabasco in my eggs.
That's good too. Yeah.
And as plain Tabasco, my favorite Tabasco is Chipotle, but for scrambled eggs, it's got to be the plain Tabasco.
Mm-hmm.
It just works better.
Gotcha. You don't use the Cholula sauce or anything like that?
If I'm out of Tabasco,
Fair enough.
because I do like Cholula.
You have any more of that hot sauce we got at the Belmar
Yeah. They were there. They were
Seafood
there
Festival?
at the seafood festival.
they were there again this year?
Yeah.
You went, I didn't. So
What whose fault is that?
mine.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
yeah. Actually, I think I got one of the bottles left. I think the other one's in the fridge. Yeah, the other one's in the fridge.
Nice. I still have about a quarter. My bet's in the fridge. I still have about a quarter of mine from last year that we got.
Yeah, the other one from last year is not open. I didn't buy it anymore
Oh, you didn't?
because I haven't finished the ones I've got.
Gotcha. Fair enough. Well, you have. I have a lot of hot sauces, but you have probably 10 times as many as I do. So.
Yeah, and I also tend to cook with a lot of chilies, so my cooking's hot enough as it is without adding extra hot sauce to it.
Gotcha. I'm hot enough as I am without adding any extra hot sauce.
Well, turn on the air conditioning.
Yeah. I'm just I got the vapors. Speaking of that, folks, I need a beer, so let's drink and then we'll continue the show. John? What are you drinking first, there, Mr. Guru?
Let's pour some in the glass here. I just popped. Get some head on it there, but I got a Tuckertoberfest from Tucker Brewing Company in Tucker, Georgia.
Tucker Brewing Company in Tucker, Georgia. There you go.
Yeah.
We did a hard pour, huh?
Yeah, that one actually is. It sat for a minute.
Wait a second, you did a schnit. That's a schnit pour.
That's a schnit pour, yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful schnit pour.
Yeah, that's a little more head than I usually go for, but that's what we're working with. Actually, there's still a lot of beer.
Oh, that's right. We don't have Tom on the show. It's John. Yeah, we'll leave it alone then.
Cool. Very nice. Samurai.
Well, we got to announce another one of the days to talk about what I'm drinking.
Oh, okay. Let's do that. So the next day that we haven't mentioned yet is Happy World Cider Day. Today's World Cider Day.
So I'm drinking Austin East Cider's Blood Orange Cider because I was hoping that it wouldn't be cloyingly sweet like a lot of American ciders can be. And it's nice. It's actually pretty nice.
Very nice.
Yeah,
very nice.
The thing is, it's Austin East Cider Blood Orange Hard Cider because in this country you have to state that it's hard cider because if you say cider in any other country, it means hard cider.
You know what? And
otherwise it's apple juice.
I do have a problem with that. Okay, I do have a problem with that. Hard. You have to say it's hard cider because they need to know there's alcohol in it, right? I have a problem with that when it comes to seltzers, specifically White Claw, because White Claw now, and it pains me to say this, have released, and for those of you that don't know, I think most of you do at this point.
We've mentioned it enough on the show.
We've mentioned it enough on the show. White Claw has released a line of non-alcoholic hard seltzers.
Yep. So I'm waiting for a non-alcoholic hard cider to come out.
But my point is, why do you have to say non-alcoholic hard seltzer? Why can't you just say seltzer?
Yeah.
All right. And here's the kicker. Okay. The wholesale price of the non-alcoholic hard seltzers is actually more than the regular hard seltzers.
That's just called a ripoff.
So why not go bipolar?
There you go.
Call it a day. But
What's
that's
your-
just me. Call me silly. I don't know. But
No, I'm going to call you bipolar.
see what you did there. Hey.
So, yeah.
All right.
It's the voices. I'm sorry, it's the voices.
It's the voices. I am drinking from beautiful Von Trapp Brewing up in beautiful Stowe, Vermont. I'm drinking their Kolsch. That's what I'm starting with, and I poured it in. It's now granted it's a Kolsch, so it really shouldn't go in this glass. It should go in a Stanga, but
Yeah, sure.
I don't have a Stanga at the moment.
I have 3.
Yes.
Well, 3 here.
But it's in a Von Trapp glass, so
it's in a logo.
There you go.
and I got my Von Trapp hat on, so I'm repping Von
Nice.
Trapp.
I am not going to do any of that kind
Sure.
of thing today. I'm not going to match anything to anything. I'm not wearing a shirt that matches to anything.
There you go.
You're just not going to be Von Trapped into that.
You're not going to be Von. He's on his game tonight, folks.
Not going to lure me into that one.
But you are wearing a Rhode Island beer shirt.
Yes, I'm getting stoked for my Rhode Island trip. So
There you go.
And as John pointed out, I've been lately emptying the beer fridge rather than buying any new beer. I'm just emptying as much as I can out of there to make room for all the stuff I'm going to be bringing back from Rhode Island.
Fair enough. We have a couple more. We have another comment here. First beer from Brian Boke. He's drinking a Wander Brewing double out of Bellingham, Washington.
Huh?
Is that Wander? Is that Wander back?
No, Wander back's in New Jersey.
Kidding. That was a joke.
Bellingham's a beautiful, beautiful town.
Bellingham is beautiful. Bellingham is very beautiful. And
it's the most beautiful.
I have that double. I have not had it yet. I'm pretty sure I got it from the same place he did.
Very possible that you ordered from the same.
It's quite possible that we ordered from the same place. Yes. But anyway, all right. To finish out the days, it is.
What else is there?
Well, we didn't mention that it is International Sommelier Day.
Sommelier.
Sommelier.
So, do we also celebrate the beer version of the sommelier?
Cicerone, thank you.
No, I was just with the C, but not pronounced hard.
Cicerone, yeah. No, I'm. It's been a long week and it's only Tuesday, so forgive me. Not to mention little hot today it was down here at the shoreline.
It was hot here too.
Yeah, finally. I mean, it's been cold, but
but at least the humidity was low, so
this is very true. So anyway, International Sommelier Day. Yes, if there would an International Cicerone Day would be nice.
There might be one.
So I'm unaware. I am unaware, and it also would be remiss if we didn't say it's McLovin's birthday.
It is McLovin's birthday. Happy birthday, McLovin!
Happy birthday, McLovin. We appreciate you. There you go. So, all right. I thought you were looking for that, so I was giving you a second. But all right.
No.
All right. So, folks, we came on the show tonight for a little show that we concocted up a little while back. Classic beer styles. I mean, look, we've done nothing but talk classic beer styles, for many years at this point. But the classic beer styles that we love the most, the three of us, right? And to that's obviously hard.
What?
It's a throwback to yesteryear, if you will, with classic beer styles. And, obviously we're going to wax nostalgic to a certain point, right? But also bring it to current day, the current breweries, be them newer or even, ones that have been around for a bit in the U.S. that make these styles and make them well. So that's what we want to talk about. So, John and I talked a little bit over the weekend about it. And, I think we had a pretty good take on it. And Dave, of course, Dave and I talked about it last week. So let's kick it off. John, what were some of the things you were thinking about once we that you had mentioned to me once we talked about this last week?
I think that today's world, breweries that focus on classic styles are few and far between.
They are.
It's one of the reasons I like Tucker so much, was because they do all German stuff and they do it very well. Dave, after we met up at Taco Mac some months ago, that's where I headed next. We went off, my son and I went to Tucker.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, and they had They had a barrel aged Doppelbock, and they had a fantastic Rauch beer and a Schwartz beer.
Oh,
So they had some really good stuff on, and but a lot of it's canned, and a lot of it I get on tap at Taco Mac. But you don't see that. In fact, we had another brewery that did the same thing. They did English ales too, and unfortunately, they went under. But everybody today, you've got to have 50 million different New England IPAs like other have, or what have you, and everybody wants to be that, or Treehouse. And
the hazies keep the lights on. They certainly do, and
Yeah.
you have to do them, and you have to do them. And it's not you can't make 3 hazies and keep making the same hazies, because that's not going to win you.
no,
That's not get you anywhere. You have to make
Some do. They just
no.
Add different
No, no.
hops.
name. Yeah.
Make no mistake. You can do 1 or 2 and do them well and do them all the time, but you have to supplement them with 90 others.
Yeah.
And I'm exaggerating with 90.
Well,
more
no,
like,
it's
more
not
like
even that.
87.
A lot of breweries will take 2 or 3 recipes and make 72 beers out of them.
Yeah.
Hops.
Just changing the hopping and the name.
Mhm.
But even at that, I think, like I tell people, if you've had one other half beer, you've had them all, because to me they're just like so. I mean, there's some variation between their straight IPAs and their doubles.
And then there's the pastry stouts. Don't forget those.
I don't even think I've had one of those yet. I haven't seen a pastry stout from Other Half yet.
Yeah,
Everything I've seen from them has been some flavor of an IPA. And we do get them in Georgia, but it's very, very intermittent. But I get them from halftime. I get more of them from halftime than I do here. But, be that as it may, I get it. That's what people want, right? There's nothing wrong with giving the public what the public wants. But for an old timer like me, I do really appreciate those classic styles, not just German, but English and Belgian and Czech.
You know what? Make no mistake, though, John. I'll be honest with you, because I'm out there. I'm talking to a lot of people on a daily basis, right? And there are a lot of when we say, like, we talk about old timers, right? Like the 3 of us are certainly in the somewhat in the upper echelon age wise in the craft beer.
Somewhat.
Somewhat. They're certainly older than us, but there's more younger, right, at this point, right? So, but there's a lot of, and I won't say kids, but I'll say some 20s, oddly enough, that I'm actually shocked to find out from, but a lot of 30s and 40s, they are actually really appreciating the lagers and appreciating the classic styles. Because they discovered craft beer. How did they discover craft beer? They discovered craft beer through New England IPAs, right?
Yeah.
So then like anything else, it's palate fatigue. Even though
That's what I was gonna say.
Even though there's rarely any IBUs in a New England IPA, right? It's still the same types of flavors over and over again. So, and they're not that they're not enjoying them. They are, clearly, because that's everybody is that for the most part, or the bulk of a lot of people are, which is why you need to keep the lights on with those beers. But they're definitely branching out and experimenting, and they're finding Kolsch's, they're finding Pilsners, even they're finding German styles, English styles, Czech styles, Belgian, even to a point, and they're saying, wow, you know what? My palate actually developed, and these are really tasting good, and I'm liking this more than I like that juice bomb I was just drinking.
Yeah, you can even do that with sticking with IPAs, because there's classic IPA, right?
Sure,
the stuff
absolutely.
that went to India in the first place, and
exactly
the style. But even then, you've got I think now it's, in my opinion, it has the status of a classic style. Is the first West Coast IPAs, which were the really resiny, piney, grapefruity ones.
100%. They to me they've achieved, like, what's it with cars? 20 years is classic, and 25 years is antique. So 20 years ago, I was drinking West Coast IPAs. So they're classic styles as far as I'm concerned. Yeah. So you're not wrong. You're not wrong. But it's actually, it warms the heart a little bit to realize that it's not just us that that appreciate old styles and seek them out, right? There's a movement happening, and there are, like you said before, there are few and far between breweries that are focusing solely on these classic styles, but I'd be remiss if I didn't say that there are a number of breweries that, while they're brewing, 36 different New England IPAs a year or more, they're dabbling in some of these classic styles.
And that's a good thing too.
Right.
Totally agree. I the other side of the coin too, though, is that Doug and I were just talking about this a few days ago, where you've got breweries that have done classic styles for the longest time. We were talking about Victory specifically, but now in his market and here in Georgia,
sure,
you can't get Hop Devil. I almost never see Prima Pils. You will find 50.
Is that Victory does get down there, but you don't.
No, we get Victory. We just get 50 million different golden monkeys. We get the berry monkey.
That's
what they're focusing on now. Yeah. This investment group that bought up Victory and Southern Tier and 6 Point. On the Victory side of things, Southern Tier is still doing their thing with their different flavors, right? That's still happening.
Yeah.
And 6 Point is doing what they're doing and kind of what they've been doing all along with the brands that they have. But they're really, Victory wise, they're really. It's not that they're not making Hop Devil, but they're really focusing a big push on the monkeys.
Yeah, and that's which, I mean, I love Golden Monkey.
Golden Monkey's a fantastic beer,
and actually the Merry Monkey that they sell at Christmas time.
Merry Monkey's very good. Very good.
But I would just like to see I mean, when I first went to Victory in the 90s, it was just I loaded my car up with, because you couldn't get it in Rhode Island then, with Hop Devil and Prima Pils,
sure,
and St. Victoria's Doppelbock, and just all again classic.
That was a great Doppelbock. That was really good. They did that well.
Yep. And you just don't see any of those beers. And that's kind of, I mean, it's a reflection of changing tastes, and I get it. And to your point, you got to keep the doors open, or you're not going to be brewing anything. So exactly,
it
makes sense. But still, always got to respect the classics.
Absolutely have to respect the classics. You got to, and it's not even, you know what? I'll branch out just for a brief moment in our discussion about what we're specifically discussing. Hold on, let me just throw up Brian Boak's comment. He says, "Like me, older." He said, his comment back to the three of us. And we definitely include you in that, Brian, 100%. But I do want to mention this, and this is kind of related to it. And I'll just throw it out there for a brief moment. We talked about this a couple of years ago when Anchor closed. There are legacy brands, and you bring up Victory, right? There are a lot of legacy brands out there, and they're still making very good beer. And some of them are making fantastic beer. But they kind of fall by the wayside because they're not the new kid on the block. Yeah. They don't have the new crazy artwork and packaging and crazy names and like calling a beer double spaghetti tomato salad, or and then I mean no offense to other half, because that's their shtick, right? Sure. They're just naming beers anything because that's what they do, right? Like double broccoli. There's no broccoli in the beer,
right?
It's just that's their naming technique. But my point is that's not what these OGs, if you will, the legacy brands are doing. And you need to pay homage at least occasionally to the legacy brands, because if you don't, eventually they're going to go away.
Yeah,
and that's a sad day. I.e. Anchor, like we spoke about, and you were on when we were talking about it.
Yep.
Because I think it was a Christmas in July show that we were talking about it, because it was it was right before they closed up shop a couple of years ago, and they we all said that if everybody that bought Anchor Christmas, because that's the only thing pretty much everybody bought, right, was Anchor Christmas. If everybody just bought one or two other 6-packs of either Anchor Steam or the Porter or Liberty Ale or whatever, just one or two a year, they probably would have been able to
absolutely
hold on.
Yep, that's the problem with people just take them for granted. And I will be the first to admit, I actually did buy the Liberty Ale and Anchor Steam at least one or two 6-packs a year.
Yeah, I did as well.
Some of the new stuff, but I should have, even at that, I feel guilty for not buying more, because Sierra Nevada doesn't seem to have the same problem that they did.
They
people
don't
always latch on to Sierra Nevada, And I don't know if it's because, part of it's because although, our special ale has a big following, and, to a degree, Anchor Steam, because Anchor Steam was the one and only in
Right.
that other breweries made California common, but
It was nothing like Anchor Steam. So.
none of them were made with the cool ships that Anchor used.
Right.
And a very unique process, and it resulted in a very unique beer. But
Sure.
But they have other beers that they sell a lot of Celebration. Probably more
to me, but
just to you alone.
Just to me alone.
They sell a lot of Bigfoot, and they sell. If you go to the brewery, either the one in Chico or the one here in Asheville, they have an excellent pale bock that you can only get at the brewery.
The pale bock's fantastic.
Yeah,
love it.
Really, really good. But they've got the porter, the stout. They're smart enough with those that they make the availability limited, which means that people, as soon as they buy it, see them, they buy them. Right. Scarcity drives demand on some of those beers, but they just seem to have a broader appeal.
They were fortunate enough to grab a market share. I mean, Pale Ale still does fantastic, right? But they were fortunate enough to grab a market share with the hazy little thing.
Yep.
And a couple of the seasonals, not just Celebration, mind you, but some of the other ones that they do, and grab that market share of not just the craft beer devotees, right? The people that respect Sierra Nevada and know that they brew good beer and still purchase throughout the year, even if it's just a 6-pack of Pale Ale, but if they can get another season or something pops out, and of course Bigfoot and Celebration by all means, but they're also getting those gateway people too.
Yeah.
They're getting the hazy little thing is a gateway beer, and Pale Ale is a gateway from hazy little thing into others. And they were able to grab that market share, and that definitely helped them big time.
They got a lot of the market share because they're in large national chains.
Oh, 100. Well, that's my point. That's what those beers got them into the large national chains. That's my point. So they were able to
turn them over too. And that's.
But they've been doing it for a while. But that's why they've succeeded, and that's why they have so much money, and that's why they were able to build Hop Disney World.
Oh,
was because that's a lot of money from being in California Pizza Kitchen, right? They were the Cheesecake Factory. They're in a lot of these national chains and bigger malls, and
100%. They're and on that note, just I'm laying this out there. The next time I get to Asheville, Dave, you need to get to Asheville too, and John, you need to drive up, and we need to meet in Mills River.
Yeah,
if not anywhere else, and I'm sure we will go other places too. But if you do drive up, I'm sure you're not just driving up to Mills River and then going home.
No, that brewery is fantastic.
Oh my God, it's so amazing.
And they did something that, right, like, so Oscar Blues in New Belgium, they open breweries in Asheville.
Sure.
But they don't have the cult status that brewery. Everybody, if you go to Asheville, you gotta hit, and everybody does hit that Sierra Nevada brewery too. And with the huge number of fantastic breweries in Asheville, that's an accomplishment that they could do that. And I don't think there's a lot of breweries in the country that Anchor. That's not something Anchor could do. Not because Anchor's not great, but
yeah.
I don't know.
And something, every single one of those other breweries, amazing breweries in Asheville, you talk to anybody there, owners, brewers, taproom managers, everything else, they all love
having them there.
Going, yeah, having Sierra Nevada there and going there and everything about it.
Yeah.
It's not a damn it, why are they here? It's they're it's, and like the rest of the industry is, but sometimes a big place like that can be, a little bit of everybody goes there, nobody comes here. No, it's all
Well, because the one smart thing they did is they didn't really step on their feet by being so close to town. You got to make a haul out there. If they were closer to town, I'm sure you'd probably hear the breweries complain a little more. But you've got to make a special.
Well, you got to go all the way down Henderson. It's a haul if it's good 20-minute ride.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably good. What we did was we went there first, and then we went to downtown after that.
Mm-hmm.
And then of course once you're downtown,
South Slope.
Yeah, you can walk to everything from in downtown. So, but get that. My advice is to get Sierra Nevada, get there first, because you're going to want to spend some time there because it's just so much fun. It's like
Oh, yeah.
it's a solar powered brewery, and all the panels on the roof. They use rainwater to brew.
Yeah.
And
they recapture their CO2.
They do.
Yeah.
A lot of really good renewable technology there. It's really,
it is renewable, and they have a big, beautiful brew house. The brew kettle is just
it's gorgeous. I'll pull up.
and then you go upstairs, and then
put it
you have this big walkway, and you're looking down into that area. You're looking into the malting area, and then they got all these hop bins, and you're just looking through glass windows, and it's just so cool. Probably one of that and Omegang is two of the most beautiful breweries I've ever been in.
Those kettles are just amazing, really are. But that you're right. That and Omegang are just probably, I mean, the sheer awe of the size of the production facility in both, Treehouse or Jack's Abbey, is amazing. But as far as beauty goes, a thing of a work of art, if you will, is Sierra Nevada, Mills River, and Omegang for that matter. Really is.
Something to be said for Fabian Stefan.
Yeah, 100%.
Got to get there. 20, 40,000 years. But
well, let's plan it. Let's plan 15 years.
I'm going. If I'm still breathing, I'm going.
3 of us are there, and we're there together. We need to plan that. We need to plan that.
How many more years do I have
15.
to live on this world?
At least 15, dude.
That was 14.
Now, you don't have to have a beautiful brew house to make great beer. That's
No,
you don't. You can make amazing beer with a tiny little unceremonious little 4-barrel system, 2-barrel system. If you can make great beer, if you know what you're doing, but it's just when you make great beer in a pretty brew house.
That's definitely
nice.
That's the trifecta.
Exactly. Anybody going to the second beer? Because I certainly am.
I've poured mine already.
What are you drinking?
Well, I figured since I honored National Cider Day, I would go in with the classic styles. And so I went with some Hoegaarden. Okay. I've drank it on the show before, but I still have some in the fridge. So let's pull this out. This is one of those classics, resurrected style at that.
Yeah, definitely a resurrected style. We had that on a show with Benoit, with the chocolate show.
We did. He actually chose it, and that's why I have it. And he paired it with one of the white chocolate truffles. Was it the Biscoff one?
It was the Biscoff.
It was the Biscoff one.
Mm-hmm.
But it's I was in Austin recently, because we know that Pierre Celis, who reinvented the style, resurrected the style, that is, moved to Texas, brought his recipes with him, and he was making Celis White.
No, it's Peter Celis, folks, not Peter Sellers.
That's why
Pierre Celis.
Pierre Celis.
Oh, Pierre. Right.
Said Pierre.
Right.
But
we like Peter Sellers.
We like Peter Sellers too.
Yes.
But the Celis Brewing is there again. It's got a pretty tap room, but it's really not. It's not the Celis family anymore, and that's a sad story. Maybe one of these days we'll really, really delve deeper into that. But I'll say one thing. I had a Celis White. Finished it out of respect, and then I was done. It's not what it used to be. Gotcha. How could it be?
His daughter carried it on for a while, didn't she, Christine?
She did for a while, yeah.
But then sold, and then it's not the same. But
it's not.
But so I'm drinking the Hoegaarden, which is the original. This is the original wit. Next to this, my favorite wit next to this is definitely Allagash.
Yeah,
of course.
Doug and I have been talking about. In fact, we both went out and we were having a conversation, and it dawned on us that, you know what, I haven't had one. So we both went out and picked some up. I got a 6-pack at Ingles Supermarket, and I forget where he got it, and it's great. It's still probably Omegang makes a really good one too.
Omegang wit is really good.
Yeah, but Allagash is one of the first domestics, other than that. We did have Celis in the mid '90s. He and I drank him together too. The first time I got him, we got him together from Beer Across America.
We've talked about that. Remember Beer Across America?
Yeah,
not what it was though.
Yeah.
And then we went to Allagash from there because we were in New England, of course, and so Allagash was in.
I had a friend who.
You had a friend?
once. But he had his crispers were full of either Miller Lite and Blue Moon.
Okay.
By the time I was done, he had a crisper full of Miller Lite and Allagash White. So it's like, okay, I won half the battle.
Right. You got
So not
There you
too bad. Not too bad. Got to claim some victories.
What's your second beer there, Guru?
I got a. I don't have an Enegren glass, unfortunately, much as I troll eBay looking for them. But this is their Valkyrie, which is an alt beer.
Mm-hmm.
Enegren is another brewery that does all German styles
Mm-hmm.
in Moore Park, San Diego area.
Sure.
But yeah,
That's
they do it.
Tough place to be doing classic styles.
They seem to do pretty well. I think you can. Some breweries will get away with it if nobody else is doing it, right?
Sure.
And you're the only guy. But they, I mean, they make a killer Doppelbock at Christmas time. And
it's that's on my list. I have not had the Enegren Doppelbock around Christmas time. I have
very good. They do a good Rauch. They do several Rauch beers. I'm a big fan of Enegren. Get out that area. That's the first brewery I'll hit. So.
Very nice, very nice. I am. I went to England for this style. I left Germany, went to England for this style. I may.
So while we started late,
I may go back to Germany. But right now, I left Germany, went to England, and I'm having Bitter Geezer, which is an ESB. And here's the thing, they call it an English style ESB.
Redundant.
Okay, that's like an ATM machine, right?
Sort of.
Right. So it's an ESB from Elder Pine down in Maryland, and they make fantastic styles, and there it is right there. And I put it in improper glassware. I put it in a treehouse glass, but look how pretty that is.
That's a pretty beer.
That's very nice. Oh, that's tasty. I love a good ESB. This is really nice. Wow. I got to have another one of those.
You mean another sip or another can?
Both. Oh, that's really good. Yep. That was good. I enjoyed that. That's fantastic. The caramel in that is really, really nice. It's not overpowering. It's not sweet by any means. It's just nice, subtle, playing with the malt. And the bitterness is in the back. It's really nice. Well brewed ESB. Elder Pine makes fantastic beer. You know how I feel about Elder Pine.
Yep.
And definitely want to get them on the show at some point. But cool. So yeah, you know what? I mean, to get back to that, there's a lot of there are a lot of breweries. Let's chat about that. So I mean, we've kind of mentioned that, we were kind of keen around German styles, English styles. Like let's rattle off some German styles that are favorite to us. Let's do that. Let's start there. I'll start. My favorite German style, and Dave, you want to tell them what my favorite German style is? Of course, you both know, but you want to tell.
You want me to do it in English or German?
Do it in German.
Schwarzbier.
Okay, there you go. And in
Black
English,
beer.
like black beer.
Black beer.
Black beer. There you go. And a very close second to that would be.
For you.
Mm-hmm.
What's it called again? Alt.
Sticke Alt, yes.
Sticke Alt.
Alt, yep. Those are my two top German styles. But I could go on. Doppelbocks, Weizenbocks, please. I'm a huge Aventinus fan. Yes, Dave. I know you've had it off of tap 6.
I'm not going to do the thing that you do and just tell the same story every damn show.
That's why I said it. But anyway, John, you're.
I actually did that twice, by the way.
I know.
Yeah, I love German beer to the point where if I had to choose only one country to have beer from for the rest of my life, it'd be German beer.
Of course.
And I would be perfectly happy.
As would I. That would be it.
But Doppelbock is, of course, my favorite style. Box of all varieties: single box, Maibach, Rauchbock. Rauch beer is next on the hit parade. I'm a big fan. I love Hefeweizens and Weizenbocks, of course. I love the Kristallweizen and the Heffies and
Crystal Weissens are
the
nice too. Yeah.
Dunkels and alt beers. They're on the list too, and of course Martzen.
Oh, yeah.
So that's just tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, it's the tip of the iceberg. I haven't met a German style beer that I didn't like.
Yeah.
Or I shouldn't say that. I didn't love, right? Which Schwarzbiers and Sticker Alts being at the top of mine. Box in general. I won't even say Doppelbox like you said. Bock and single box brewed amazing. Like and I'll get to that in a minute. I won't segue into breweries that we're talking about, but yeah, box in general are fantastic. Dave, German styles.
Well, I'm not going to duplicate anything you guys said. What I'll add to it is I really do enjoy really nice crisp Helles lager.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Kolsch. I mean, you just drank a Kolsch.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I love Kolsch. I love Carl. I still have 2 left.
These are, and I got to tell you, these go down so good. I mean, Contrap makes such a great Kolsch. They really do.
That's the whole point of a Kolsch, really. Yeah. Also, I really do like Dortmunders.
Dortmunders are great.
I really enjoyed Dortmunder. Mm-hmm. Maybe this isn't quite. I guess it's a classic style in the fact that it's almost a forgotten style in this country, but it's one of those very hyper localized styles out of Germany, and I absolutely loved them. That's Lichtenheiner's.
Sure.
Absolutely adore Lichtenheiner's. A smoked sour. A beer that tastes like strong cheese. That's love them. Absolutely love them. I can't find enough. I can't find them.
Yeah. Who's making a Lichtenheiner, right? I mean,
very few people make Lichtenheiners.
And very few people make Lichtenheiners in Germany.
Yep.
Forget about the United States or anywhere else.
Because it's hyper localized. Right. I forget exactly where it was from Lichtenheim, isn't it? Yeah.
Catch them.
Almost like a rarity, like an Adam beer, right? So
yeah.
You never see anybody. Who was it? Out in Oregon made him. Adam, Hair of the Dog.
Yeah, Hair of the Dog.
Yeah, but I've never seen one from Germany.
Actually, I'll be getting my shipment tomorrow.
It's coming tomorrow.
You
gotta let me know what I owe you.
Yeah, you guys. I'll go through the math. It's not pretty. It's the shipping was just stupid ridiculous. John already knows. It's because they had to they charged for the packaging to make sure the beers got here safely. So
because they're all in bottles. Yeah, we got Cherry Adam from the Wood, and a couple others, right? Two vintages of Cherry Adam from the Wood.
And I forget the name of the other beer.
And whose fault was that?
Whose fault was that? Who was telling us about those at the time?
Well, I brought up Cherry Adam from the Wood, but somebody else brought up the other beer.
I'm like half asleep. I had a long.
Well, his name's been mentioned out of John's mouth already a couple times.
Oh, that's right, Dougie.
It was Doug.
He's such a bad influence.
He is. Brian Boak just said his second beer that he's drinking is a classic German brewery, Ramstein. His Maybach. Greg makes really great, and I'm going to bring that up in a little bit too. Greg makes amazing German beer up there in Butler, New Jersey. So, and then he said his first country would be Belgium.
Then we went through the countries. I'll tell you which one mine is.
There you go.
It would have been Germany, but there's one thing that trumps it, and you'll find that out later. But Brian, brace yourself. I think the shipping was more than the beer.
There you go. So anyway, back to our regularly scheduled program. Let's Brian brought it up. Let's go to Belgians. What favorite Belgian styles?
Let John start this time since it's his. Well, just know that Brian said that. Let John start that one.
There you go.
For Belgians?
Yeah.
Well, of course, doubles, because they're not all that dissimilar to Doppelbox.
100%. You're right.
So I am a big fan of Abbey Double.
It's a Doppelbock with Belgian yeast, right?
With Belgian yeast, yeah. I like quads too. Anything Chimay makes is going to be phenomenal. Mm-hmm. And of course, Lambics and just so much great stuff coming out of Belgium that you You can't go wrong. But I like the really puckering lambics, like the Frank Bone.
A good Udaguza.
Yeah, Negoza. Yep.
They're fantastic. I mean, something that just like you remember the cartoons when we were kids when somebody had a jar of alum and they took a spoon like Tom and Jerry put a spoon in his mouth and just puckered like that's what you want, right? When
That's
you
what
want
I want. You get that from a Flanders Red too,
of course,
or an old
Of
Bruin.
Uda Bruins are great. Yeah, Flanders Red. I mean, a good Duchess or Rodenbach Grand Cru.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Beautiful.
But any Belgian. I mean, and
what's the other one? Alexander.
Yeah, Alexander's the other one. Yeah,
such a good one.
And even the even the lighter styles of Belgian, even like the Pater's beers, they're fantastic.
Yeah.
The lighter, the lawnmower beer, the monks we call them, right?
Yeah.
So and speaking of that, segue. This is where we needed that segue.
This is a shameless plug.
Shameless plug. A brand new collab between Twin Elephant and Coastal Brewworks, right there.
There you go.
All right, it is Monastic Fantastic.
Oh, that's a cool label too.
That is a nice label. But there's only one elephant. There's supposed to be two, isn't there?
Well, yeah. I mean, I think he's. I think that's just. I think the other one's just he drank too many of them. I think that's what it was.
Only one on the floor.
Well, he's a monk. He's a monk. He's a monk elephant. So he's singular. But yeah, it's so at Coastal we brewed monkfish last year, and it won us the award, and we've mentioned on the show before one of the untapped awards they give out or whatever. We won gold for it, but for the entire country. So that was pretty humbling and honoring. We loved that. So we got together with Twin Elephant and they decided let's riff on that style. So we changed it up a little bit. We used a lot of local malt from Rabbit Hill in New Jersey, and we dry hopped it as well with Rawaka, and that's where we got and hence Monastic Fantastic was born. So there you go. So just got released last Friday. Small batch. Maybe they'll make another one, but it's available now at the brewery and a small distro footprint because it wasn't a huge batch. But it's tasty. I did not get to the opening. I was tied up, but
he escaped.
I escaped, right? And I did have one the other day on Sunday, and it was delicious. It came out. I was very happy with it. It came out fantastic. So anyway, but I digress. Back to our regularly scheduled program. Yeah, I do enjoy Pater's beers that we didn't brew either, right? But Belgians are fantastic. I love it. One of my favorite Belgians is a quad. And that would be St. Bernardus 12. That beer is amazing, and I'll stand that up against. And with all due respect to Westy, while I respect it, and it the holy grail that it is or has become, right, because of its scarcity.
Yeah.
I'll stand St. Bernardus 12 up to it any day of the week, and you can get St. Bernardus 12 pretty much anywhere.
Or the Yeah, St. Bernard, the Christmas ale is
and the Christmas ale is fantastic too. 100%.
But yeah, I think their quad is very accessible. I mean, my local growler shop has had it, and I brought home growlers of it. Had it on tap at Taco Mac, and that level of accessibility, and obviously you get it in bottles, right? But
sure.
Westy is it's its own beer, and as you said, the scarcity is the key to the mystique about it. But it's a great beer.
It's fantastic. It's great. But yeah,
I've only had it once, and I paid $75 from Craft Shack to get a single bottle of it, and it was worth it because I wanted to try it. But having said that, I mean, I would, and I've got a buddy who he must have been a saint in a previous life because his father-in-law has some kind of mafia connection where he gets cases of West Platoon 12.
Wow, really?
And he gets Tom cases of it, but he same thing. He's like swears up and down that Saint Bernardus is every bit as good as the Westie.
That's because it is.
So
It really is. It really is fantastic. And my coming in second to St. Bernardus for me would actually be from Head Anchor, Cuvée Van de Kaiser Blau, the blue. That's a fantastic quad as well.
Interesting.
Really, 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 really good.
I've never had that one. I'll be on the lookout for it. Then.
Really good.
Interesting.
When it comes to quads, my favorite was always Rochefort 10.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
Oh yeah, I mean that's my old standby, right? If I'm in the mood for a quad and I'm not in the mood to open a 750 and drink St. Bernard's 12, and I don't feel like buying.
12 comes in 16-ounce cans now. And
I know it does, but it's 4-packs, right? I can grab one bottle of Roquefort 10.
This is true.
Right?
This is true.
Yeah, any of the Trappist brew, Westmalle is.
Westmalle's fantastic. They're all fantastic.
I like their double
so
probably better than anybody.
Westmalle double, I like.
Yeah.
I like a little bit better than the quad. Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
But
when it comes to other styles, though, one of my favorite styles, hands down, is Creek.
Yes.
It's off the Lambic. Absolutely love Creek. But there's something to be said about a Belgian strong dark.
Strong dark's amazing. Yeah.
Right. And even the pale darks.
Close cousin of quads.
Very close cousin. There's times where I actually prefer them. There's the one thing. I mean, I'm not as crazy about Belgians as most other people, especially when it comes to a lot of the monastic ales. It's mostly, I think for me, it's like and John knows this, I'm not a huge fan of phenols. And Belgian yeast throws shit tons of phenols.
Oh, it's the Belgian, right? I mean,
that's one of the things that classifies them as a Belgian is that phenolic. The esters and the phenols are really pronounced, and the yeast really makes a statement.
Sure.
In those styles of beers. So, as much as I do love a lot of different other Belgians, like Eau de Bruin is one of my favorite styles.
Yeah,
I love a good Belgian brown. It's fantastic. Absolutely.
Absolutely love those. There's a reason, despite so many of the beers that I do love from Belgium, that Belgium wouldn't be my country either, as far as favorite country for classic styles.
There you go. Well, it's a good thing you're going there in August.
Yes.
One of the things I really like about Belgian Strong, though, is because it's a style that's not really a style. It's like a catch-all. Belgian Strong, like you can have 10 Belgian Strongs and they're nothing like each other.
Nothing like each other, 100%.
So different. But that kind of diversity is really good. That there's a style that lets you have so much.
Lets you have so much variety in it, but leeway in it. Yeah.
And then the Belgian pales like your Duvels, and the strong pales like Delirium Tremens. These beers that you don't realize that you're pretty much drinking rocket fuel. Until you try to get up.
Until it's too late.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going back years and years and years, right? But my first experience with Delirium Tremens, unfortunately, was on a day in July at a bar, and I was very thirsty, so they went down too fast. All right, I drank more water with it, right? But it was like 90-something degrees outside, so.
And I think they overstate the ABV as well. So
100%, 100%, yeah. And I was drinking faster than I would normally drink, right? And after my fourth in 40 minutes, maybe 45 minutes, I went to stand up to go to the bathroom. I'm like, whoa, what the hell was that? Because I didn't feel it sitting down. You didn't feel it. As soon as you got up, everything rushed. But that was my first experience. That was probably 30 years ago, something like that. But it was amazing. But
there's a reason they call it Delirium Tremens, because
it's very true.
You're gonna have them after you.
It's very, very true. I want to get to England, but let's jump over to the Czech Republic for a moment.
Well, we've got two styles.
Right, that's my point. So let's just
pop. So what's your favorite styles from the Czech Republic?
I mean,
light or dark?
There's not two. No. There's varying degrees of styles. See what I did there?
Yes, a good thing we've got a platonic relationship.
There you
See
go.
what I did there?
That's what you did there.
At any rate,
But
well,
yeah, there's
is it a
Czech Pilsners,
Pilsner?
there's
Is
Czech
it a
Pale
lager?
Lagers,
And there's
there's
lagers.
Polo Tomaves, there's Tomave
Yep.
Pivos, and there's degrees of differences in and amongst
And
those
variations.
styles as well,
Yeah.
variations. Sure.
Yeah, and then you've got the you've got the Czech milkshake IPA.
What?
Speaking of Czech styles, I don't know if you saw. That's an absolute joke. No self-respecting brewer in the Czech Republic would do a milkshake IPA.
A Czech milkshake.
Imagine.
Oh, they're big over there. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I,
the Czech pastry lagers.
Pastry lager.
those were actually brewed in Germany in the 1500s.
Oh yeah.
And they are the reason why the Germans came up with the Reinheitsgebot.
They predated Reinheitsgebot, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Right. As a matter of fact, just last month we did pass Beer Abomination Day.
We did.
Imagine that.
I do have a friend from Prague though, and he'll admit that they certainly don't have as many styles as some of the other classic brewing nations. But what he says for what they do have, they check all the boxes.
They do. They 100%
I
do.
see what you did there too.
Yeah.
Very, very nice.
Love it. We're nothing if
Yeah,
we're nothing if we're not punny.
that's right.
Mm.
And what's better than that?
Or which is just short for repugnant. Did you know that?
It was 6 to 1, yeah.
We're all going in the penitentiary, and the more beers we talk about, the worse the puns get. But
Yeah.
I
The
think
more
it
that
has
you
a
drink, the more
combination.
You might like them.
The more you drink, yeah, exactly.
Just the other night, I had a collab that was a Tomave Pivo that was aged on cherry wood. Oh God, it was so
really?
Really
Oh, that's fantastic.
It was from Fonta Flora in North Carolina.
Oh, really?
And it was a collab with Schilling. And
I gotta get my hands on some of that. What's the name of it? I gotta seriously. Did you check into it? I'll just go to your.
Yeah, I checked it. It's got a nutcracker on the which
I'll check it out.
that caught my attention right away.
I'll check it out.
Yeah.
We took another easy one.
There you go.
That was a beach ball. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's.
I got it from halftime, of course. So you guys probably can even find it in your area.
Yeah, probably. So John, you've heard that
Which John? There's two of us.
Sledum.
Okay.
Sacred Profane is coming to New Jersey.
Sacred Profane is coming to New Jersey, brought to you by the wonderful people of Lactose. I mean, of Bolero Snort.
Bolero Snort, yes. Yeah, Lactose, yeah. Speaking of milkshake.
No, that's fantastic that they did that. That's a coup. I love it. I love the fact that they're bringing Sacred Profane to Jersey.
And there's one of those breweries that just specialize in classic
Czech styles.
styles.
It's like but both of them. Yeah, exactly. Now they have others that actually I could tell you right now.
Did they actually come out with more than just dark and light?
I'm going to tell you right now. Hold on, because I can pull this up. Hold on.
Because they started off with just the two.
They did. You're absolutely right. They did start off with just the two.
They do not have a tap room.
Okay, so they have
a tank room.
Right now they have a they have the pale lager.
Yeah.
They have the Tomave Pivo, the dark lager.
That's the dark one, yeah.
They have a Polo Tomave.
So the one half somewhat in between.
It's a Czech amber, right?
Yes, Czech red, or yeah.
Right. They are making a smoked Czech lager.
Interesting.
Okay. And they call it a Svetli.
Svetli.
Well, Svetli. Svetli. Svetli, yeah. But that's the same name as the Czech Pale. It's just smoked, right? But they're making a Radler.
Ugh. Okay.
You have a lemon shandy. So I guess they felt the need to, bring a lemon shandy into Jersey along with the other amazing beers. But yeah, that's what those 5 beers are available. Those 5 beers are available in Jersey starting this week. So
definitely need to find some.
Yep. So we'll get you. We got to hook that up.
If you see something, yeah.
I will let you know. So let's go over to London, shall we? Let's go over to England, jolly old England.
You're skipping Netherlands? Joking. And France? How could you possibly?
Well, let's talk about Kronenberg for a second, shall we? Now, do you like the Blanc or the 1664? Which do you like better?
The 1664, maybe Chateau Lafite.
16. I wonder what a bottle of 1664 Chateau Lafite would cost right now.
Chateau.
You know, that was well cellared. Is my point. I wonder how much that would be. Like how many hundreds of thousands of dollars that bottle would be.
More than a case of Corona.
What was it? Was it Chateau de Chasselie? What was the one in the
Chateau de Gasoline?
Gasoline. No, what was it? Was it the Three Scotsmen sketch from Monty Python?
Oh yeah, right.
Chateau de Chasselie.
Chasseline, yeah, I believe you're right.
Like that, something along those lines. So,
but yeah, let's get up to jolly old England there. Lot of styles.
Before you did that comment.
Oh, yes. Rod J, how are you, sir? Cheers, fellas. Great show as always. Thank you, Rod. Cheers.
Cheers, Rod.
Cheers, Rod.
Got to get you back on, bud. 100%. Feel free to chime in, Rod, with your take on any of these classic beer styles and that. I do want to I do want to mention that if we're jumping to England, this is one of my faves from England, and that's obviously an ESB.
Right.
You know, I'd be remiss if I didn't
pop a can.
No, self-serving. You know, one of those ESBs with rye,
which was actually very, very good. I've had that beer.
Thank you so
Thanks,
much,
Dave.
Yeah, you're welcome, John. Run a couple down there.
There you go. Yes, he did. And I shared the reviews too on the website, so that was fantastic. But yeah, that was great. But in any event, yeah, I love them. But more, I want to hear. I'll dive in with my take on some of the styles, but I want to hear John's take on some of the English styles.
Well, I mean, what can I say? Porter.
Of course,
porter is one of my favorite all-time styles. Classic pale ale, India Pale Ale, the original
IPA. Sure.
IPAs that probably had a woody character from rolling around in those casks in a ship all the way from Burton to India. There was a brewery out in on the West Coast. I can't remember who quite it was in the 90s that actually tried to replicate the woodiness of it. And it was good, with classic English hops. And
yeah, I mean, well,
today
Dogfish Head for years did Burton Baton, which was fantastic.
And the irony, this is the great irony, probably the greatest irony of the beer world, is that all of these breweries that make IPAs that say drink fresh, don't age. Well, I mean, the original IPAs were designed to
age.
So there you go. But yeah, you gotta love.
That's the irony at its finest. I'm glad you pointed that out, John. That's great. That's great.
It always kills me when I see that. It says you gotta
drink this now.
That
just means you're gonna love it. Go in. Here's a 4-pack. Go out in the parking lot, drink it, and then come back in and buy another 4-pack.
That's it.
Yep. It was expected to have hop fade.
Yeah. Well, that was the point. They didn't want the hops weren't in it so you can enjoy the hop flavors and aroma. The hops were in it to help get the malts down to India.
Yeah.
But then the locals had it fresh too and decided that, you know what, I actually like this. So
and then we got our hands on the damn thing
and forget about it.
And we changed it.
And it got nuts.
And I still point to those classic West Coast American IPAs from the 90s.
You're right.
As I think they were great. I mean, if you look at Brooklyn East India IPA, they were trying to do more of the original English style.
Yep.
Sure.
And some East Coast brewers were doing that.
Yeah.
But the West Coast wanted to do their own thing, and they did a great job at it.
Yeah,
and
Harpoons was an English style.
Yeah.
Harpoon IPA was an English IPA. It was fantastic.
Saranac's first IPA was
and it was and that actually became, and then There was a harpoon ale too that they did. If you remember harpoon ale.
Harpoon Ale. Yeah, that was the first one.
That was the first one. That was fantastic. That was so good. Oh my god.
Yeah,
That was ridiculous.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got to say one of my favorite, and everything you mentioned, I'm right there with you. But one of my other, I should say, favorite English styles is an old ale.
Old Ale. Yeah.
Old ales are amazing. I really, really, really love it. And I'd be remiss if I didn't point out the fact that I'm a huge English barley wine fan.
Yeah.
And the longer you lauder that beer, you boil that beer for 24 hours. What's another 24 hours? Throw it again. You made a 20-barrel batch and only got 4 barrels out of it. Great. I'll pay you the extra money. That's what I want to drink.
It's a cognac beer.
Right.
Because the longer it ages, the more flavors that it starts to develop.
And I appreciate American barley wines. Don't get me wrong, but English barley wines just it's two different styles. I mean, well, clearly it's two different styles, right? One's English and one's American. But I mean, it's not even to me, they're not even related.
No,
I mean, in name only, and that's it.
Well,
right? But
we threw a lot of hops.
I mean,
malt bill similar.
Yeah,
it's just overly, there's just the American ones are just they have too much of a hot presence, and it's not boiled as long, if you will, right? But yeah, you take that and you put that in a couple of really good bourbon barrels and forget about it. It's fantastic. Yep. Anyway, but old ales, I did want to mention that old ales are that brings us to some of the breweries. All right, let's talk about it.
I don't get to talk about English styles.
Oh, I thought you did. I'm sorry. Yes,
no.
Go ahead.
Okay, so John went to Germany, Brian, Belgium. For me, it's England. There's a couple of reasons for it. Two of those reasons are styles that John completely forgot that he loves.
Miles, yeah.
Dark specifically.
And brown ales.
And browns.
Of course.
But for me, my favorite style that I can drink, people say it's a seasonal thing. Fuck that. It's not seasonal. I will drink stouts every damn day of the year if I want to. It is my favorite style. Greek's probably my second favorite. And then it just cascades down from there. But stouts, I just absolutely love stouts. Was
that another pun? And we're talking about beer and hops. You said it cascades down from there.
No, it wasn't actually. Because I'm not a coward. I do intend my puns. But I am what I drink, and I am stout. So most of this is probably stout, for that matter.
Fair enough.
I absolutely love stouts. I love the diversity of a stout. There's so many different things you can do to it to get so many different flavors out of it. Peanut butter stouts, coffee stouts. I just absolutely love it. And then you get your sweeter stouts. Forget pastry stouts, but they have their place here and there. If they're done okay. I mean,
it depends on pastry. You know what? I mean, we'll talk about it.
Here's the thing. There's lactose stouts and there's pastry stouts. Pastry stouts are meant to be stupidly sweet. Then there's some stouts that they'll put lactose in and you won't even know it's in there. It's just to really round it out a little bit. But then you also have your oyster.
It's like salt. Like we've talked about this.
You're still in my line.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Where lactose is to beer, what salt is to cooking.
100%.
You put it in there, it's going to enhance it. You put too much in, you've ruined the whole recipe. The dish is gone. It's destroyed. But even like oyster stouts, and then you get those nice roasty bitter stouts like a Yeti. And there's so many variations within this particular style. I think IPA is trying really hard to exceed stout as far as different sub-styles with all the silliness that they do with this. Like we just admitted, there are some sub-styles within stout that are silly as hell. But still, for those that aren't, I just absolutely, for me, because of stouts is why I would take England.
And imperial stouts, which, of course, we did the same thing to imperial stouts that we did to IPA.
Yep.
We done did.
We made them bigger. We made them better. We threw more malt and hops at them. But that was an English, of course, an English invention. Baltic porters, all those beers that made the journey from England to Russia through the Baltics. And
the interesting thing about your statement we made them bigger, we made them better. We did the same thing to IPAs, but at some point in both the IPAs and the stouts, we didn't stop there. We had to go beyond bigger
We did.
and better. And we got stupid with a lot of it.
We did, because we with the IPAs, we went from double and imperial, which there's a lot of great double and imperials too that had the characteristics of those long lamented classic West Coast piney resiny grapefruity ones. Now those I'm lucky because I can get a lot of those in North Carolina. There's a lot of Western North Carolina breweries that make those styles of beers today and make them very well. But we didn't stop there. Then we made them imperial, and that was okay. But then we went on to the tropical fruity, modern hoppy IPAs, and totally got away from the original West Coast. Now those are kind of past. Then we did session IPAs for a while, which were kind of the antithesis of the IPA, moving away from they didn't have the alcohol strength and didn't have the body really to be an IPA. And then hazy, juicy New England IPAs became all the rage, and who knows what'll be next, right? The hazies will probably at some point start to lose favor because somebody will come up with something else that nobody's thought of yet. So,
don't forget the triple IPAs that we invented.
Yeah, which really I don't think. To me, there's not much difference between those and an imperial IPA, double IPA.
No, there's not. They're just like putting another.
Yeah, I mean, but you get even further than that, like the triple IPAs or whatever. I mean, once you get up that high, is it really much different than an American barley wine?
No, that's the other risk, right? Because if you superload it with malt and it starts to overwhelm the hops, you lose the character of an IPA, and you do start to go towards more towards a a
pale American barley wine.
Well, it depends, right? I mean, you look at Dogfish Head 120. I mean, that's a 120-minute IPA. That's an American barley wine. It's 120s. It's an American barley wine as far as I'm concerned.
As far as I'm concerned,
it's not in name. It is what?
For me, it's not. As far as I'm concerned, it's undrinkable.
It's undrinkable. Well, here's the thing. It's undrinkable fresh.
I think it's undrinkable for the first 3-4 years.
No, you got to sit on a 120 for about a good solid 5 years plus before you can start to crack one. Now, worldwide stout, on the other hand, have at it. It could use a year or two. The Utopias barrel aged worldwide stout was
barrel aging it. The best version I ever had of it, someone ran it through a Randall over espresso beans.
Yeah.
And those espresso beans were really cut into the cloying sweetness of the worldwide stout. So
all right, I gotta throw this up really quick. No pun, Dave. Stop. I'm not throwing up. I'm just saying. I had to put this up on the screen right here. Brian Book said English porter would be his favorite English style. He said. There you go.
But your point about English barley wines is also well taken, because it's another reason that England becomes my number one.
Oh yeah.
For all of that.
They're just amazing. It's amazing liquid, and I can't think of anything else that for that particular style, and that what I think of when I have that, what I want to be doing while I'm drinking that, enjoying that style.
Well, that's why I call a British barley wine pretty much the cognac of beer, because I imagine a lot of your imagery is sitting next to a fire.
I'm drinking. I'm
cigar
drinking
in a hand.
100%, 100%.
So it's like these are the same things that you picture yourself doing drinking a barley wine, and you're even holding it like this, is the same thing you do drinking a cognac. For the most part, it's just you don't have the crushed velour evening jacket on. Right.
Sometimes
if you want to.
Sometimes I do.
You can if you want to.
But
there's no rules against it.
Right.
But for the most part, sometimes you're wearing a flannel.
This is true. This is depending on the time of year. This is very true. Yeah. Before we get back into talking about breweries and those styles, third beers. I'm sure you opened it by now. I just opened my third.
Oh, I got to get mine.
Well, I'm gonna. I want to wait for Staradumsky to come back.
Come back, John. Come back.
Tell us what your third is.
I want to wait for John Staradumsky.
You want to wait for John too? Well, I got two reasons I want to wait for John.
Well, no, that's fine because he was only like right there, so he's
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's right there. Well, the
I have
first
a
is
beer fridge in my office. Of course I do. So
the glass that I put this in. Again, an ode to Rhode Island. This is my Cthulhu glass. It's really hard to
Cthulhu.
see. Yep. From the Hermit of Providence. But what I've got poured into it is my last one of these.
Oh,
So I figured it's time to finally finish this one off with a show with Staradumsky.
I'm sure it's not
interested to see. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was going to say I'm sure it's not the best choice, but I do have one of those left, and it's not in a can. It's actually in a bottle. I have one of those left, so
Well,
I almost don't even want to ever have it. It's just
It's
keep it closed, and here it is.
very malty at this point. I'll tell you that.
I'm sure.
So they'll be back. They'll be back.
Though they will be. It's going to be a different culture.
Yeah, he's making the Dasani joke.
The Chobani.
Dasani. Oh, that's Dasani's water.
Dasani is water. Chobani sugar. Yeah.
If he ever gets around to
Actually brewing it. Yeah. John, what did you grab?
I was really hoping he would open this September
Because you're out there.
because I will be out there, and the last time I was out there is when they closed.
You need to go out and research it while you need to go over and research it while you're out there. I'm sure something's going on there, right?
Yeah, something's going on. Yeah, I may just have to break into some buildings while I'm there.
You need to do that.
I've following your lead. I got a Von Trapp too.
Very nice. Very nice.
Oh,
There's
that was
some
nice.
So one of my favorite styles, route beer, and of course Von Trapp doesn't do anything without doing a great job at it. So
They do not. I mean, they do. They do not do anything without doing a great job of it. I'm just grabbing this right here. Look for this if you can find it, because what you have there is a collab with Live Oak.
yes, and they're actually pretty good too.
And they're fantastic too.
Yeah,
I was just.
they're no slackers.
But take a look for this right here. It's called Torsten. It's
yes, I've had it.
You've had it.
Yeah, that's like the dark smoked.
It's a smoked dog lager. Yeah.
Yeah. That's actually I made the mistake of just getting a single can though. That was this one I got 4-pack of from halftime, but
yeah,
the Trustin was delicious.
Yeah, that's really really good. I went to one of John's favorite German styles, and I am drinking from the Pacific Northwest, if you will, a Wayfinder. It is a quad decocted Doppelbock.
Oh,
that sounds. When John told me earlier that he was drinking that, like, that sounds so damn snobby.
Exactly, and there it is.
It's quadruple decocted.
You've had this before, or this is the first time?
This is the first time. I haven't taken a sip of it yet. I waited. I'm going to do it right now.
I can only imagine double decoction.
Should there be a drum roll or anything? Angels playing trumpets. Okay, do you need a moment? Do you need some like soft jazz?
Some soft jazz would be very nice right now. This is amazing.
Yeah,
this is amazing. I should have bought more. But they will be on the show in November.
Good.
Okay.
We should be sending us beer.
So we'll talk to them about getting some then.
Yeah, decoction is the secret of.
Oh yeah, this is the first I've had I've plenty of double decocted beers.
Yep.
Single decocted, of course, but I've put plenty of double decocted. I think I've had a couple of triple decocted. This is the first quad decocted beer I've ever had, and this is fantastic.
I don't count decoctions. You've seen one decoction.
You've seen one decoction. You've seen them all, right? Exactly.
And we almost had one for president, right? Ran against Bush, Michael decocted.
I think he spells it a little differently.
Yeah, a little bit. Olympia doesn't. She was his cousin, right? I believe. Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
And she counted.
There you go.
She did a better job than he did.
There you go. We're dating ourselves. That was the '80s, boys.
Yes.
So anyway, all right. So let's talk about some breweries. We've had a smattering of them mentioned so far, but we did talk about the fact that we've mentioned clearly all of our classic styles, but let's chat about some breweries that do them well, and or at one point has done one of them well.
Are you talking about the classic breweries themselves, or maybe breweries in this country that can do?
Well, let's start off with breweries right now that are making amazing beers that fit into our mold of what we were talking about with classic styles.
That didn't limit at all what I asked. So okay.
Yeah, no, I understand. I didn't answer your question, but I gave a direction to where we should go. But if you want to have anything you said, have at it. Go for it. So
I don't even know what you're talking about.
what was your question?
Well, I think there's two categories here. You've got the ones that were the classics that made them, like Hugard, right? They made
right. No, I'm talking about current day, like
They're current day. They're still in business. I bought this a month ago.
You're missing my point.
You're not explaining.
I'm talking about newer breweries, not classic breweries.
There's the word that was missing.
Newer breweries brewing classic styles.
Okay.
And let's keep it to you don't have to keep it to the United States, but I mean for all intents and purposes we're going to, right? Because honestly, most of the breweries that any of us have traveled to outside of the United States are classic breweries.
Yeah.
So that's not it's not fitting the mold of what we're talking about right now anyway. But let's talk about like for instance, I'll start it off. Okay, Von Trapp, only because I have the can in front of me. Von Trapp and John just opened one, the collab with Live Oak. Von Trapp is making an amazing German beer. Their Kolsch is amazing. Their Schwarzbier is amazing. Their Vienna Lager is fantastic. Their Helles is delicious. Their Pilsner is fantastic. I mean, I can go on and on. And the brewery itself, and not that we're talking about this, this is part and parcel of any of the conversation, but the brewery itself is gorgeous. And it's reminiscent of like a German Alps, kind of scene, and the way it's set up, a ski lodge. Female deer, right? Exactly, right. So, but hence
or
the name
Edelweiss,
yeah, absolutely. Please. But anyway, so that kind of thing, I use it as example. So have at it. So, Dave, why don't you start this time?
Well, from my most recent trip, pull one out here. Let me just whip this out.
And this stuff, by the way, this does not have to be a Dave first, then John, then me. We can chat.
These guys.
Live Oak.
Yeah, Jesus Christ, these guys are doing phenomenal stuff. I only came back with.
You mean these guys?
Those guys. Yeah,
these guys?
That beer right there. This beer right there.
That beer right there?
Where'd you get that?
I don't know. I got it for somebody.
Some jackass muled it back from Austin for you. They're, I only brought back some Rauchs. A couple of Rauch. Well, a Rauch and a.
And me and my palate applaud you for that.
Yes, but going there and drinking, it's the German styles that they're making at Live Oak. He's just freaking nailing it.
Yeah,
he's just nailing it. They're doing an amazing job. I was there for their 26th anniversary. Probably the worst band we heard the whole time we were in Austin. But that aside, the beer and the puppies. There's dogs all over the place, and the owner's got this poodle. I can't remember the poodle's name now. He's just basically his major domo.
That is a classic dog style.
It's a classic dog style from France.
Right, from France. They pair well. They pair well with Kronenbourg Blanc.
Their dogs are. Their dogs are better brewed than their beer.
Yeah.
And of course, we brought their dogs here and added more malt and hops to them.
Of course.
Yeah. So now we have that New England hazy style poodles. And
flying dog and hair of the dog. And
what we did is we doodled them. So we did exactly the same.
The last dog. I mean, I saw a raging bitch outside earlier, but that's besides the point.
She's still pissed that you were spending all that money on beer.
No. It was actually a dog.
Oh, okay. No, but we did do the same thing with the dogs. We brought them over here. We made them doodles because they're hyperallergenic, and now they're all over the place. And apparently poodles are the biggest whores in the dog world. Because we got, how many types of doodles are out there? But this isn't a show about dogs.
Too many, but get back to the beer, yeah.
Yeah, but no, Live Oak. So we'll just do a round robin here. So go Live Oak, and John, you bring one up.
Which one? There's two of us.
Staradumsky. You already did yours, so it's a round robin would be the next person in line.
I hear you. All right.
Yeah, I mean, I Live Oak. I've had like 3 or 4 different beers from them, and they were all phenomenal German style
Mhm.
beers. The Pilsner,
and now 5 with the one you're drinking now. So.
yeah, yep. The
Well,
cola,
and since
that's
we're
a good
talking
point.
about it,
But and of course I talked about Tucker because they're local and they do German stuff, and I had an Enegren, and I'm very, very fond of them. But with all the German beers, you know, Dave mentioned how much he loves English beers. I do too. And, you know, there's not a lot of breweries I see that do the same thing where they focus on English styles the way that some of these breweries have focused on German styles. Not that I can think of anyway, or that I see their
I can
beers.
think of one Flightline outside of Acadia in Maine. They're British brew pub, and that's the only one I can really think of that just basically does.
Well,
the
I
style.
guess for me, it's not really a new brewery, but Gary's is, you know, it's a new word.
Yeah, Gary's.
And Gary's does Ringwood.
Gary's
right?
is new compared to Munich. Gary's
Yeah.
is new.
Yeah.
So,
And Ringwood never took off here. There were a number of breweries. I think Gritty's is still doing Ringwood, but Middle Ages.
hey, Descendants is doing Ringwood.
Oh, really?
Descendants in Jersey. Yeah, it's all the old Ship Inn. They're doing.
Yeah.
Interesting.
They're doing Ringwood brews. Yeah.
It's got to be something else.
So, well, German wise,
British wise, it's got to be something.
British wise. Oh, British wise.
We'll have to think of it.
No, I was just going to say.
But you go ahead. You think about it.
Why you think British wise? And there's got to be a couple. Yeah, search that and please pull it up. I want to know if for no other reason. And I'll tell you too. I mean, there's plenty of breweries doing English styles, but any breweries that are specializing in English styles, that's what we're looking for, right? I have one that I need to mention, but I want to talk before I say my round robin mention brewery. John's talking about Tucker and Enegren with German styles. I'd be remiss if I didn't bring up, as we talked about before with Brian chiming in about drinking a Ramstein Maibach. Ramstein in Jersey. Greg Siccardi is a fantastic German beer brewmaster. And the beers that are coming out of there, his Maibach's fantastic. His Marzen's fantastic. Excuse me, Märzen. Say it correctly, right? Märzen. His winter wheat, okay, is a fantastic beer. Mm-hmm. But he brews his Pilsner's I can go on and on, but he does it well. And I'd be remiss if I also did not mention in that same breath Gretchen Schmidhausler. Okay, and she's little dog right over here in Neptune. And her brewery's right over there, and she lives right over there. So
why don't you just walk over and bring her?
I should walk over, drag her over here, and get on the show. But and I mean, she's written books about German brewing. She's a fantastic brewmaster.
The only Rammstein beer I've ever had was the Weiss, and that was a long time ago. But I was very impressed with it.
Yeah. Greg brews a lot of really, really, really good beer. And Brian brewed with him, and most, if not all, other than his home brews of Brian's commercial beers actually were brewed at Ramstein. But my round robin brewery I want to talk about, and this is near and dear to Dave's heart, of course. And John had mentioned it earlier, is Schilling. Schilling is just killing it with German and Czech styles.
Yes, they are.
I mean, one after the other, and they don't miss on anything. That's the thing. They don't miss on anything, and they did a collab with Eggenberg. All right. Oh. I mean, come on.
And one of my favorite beers they put out was a Grodziskie.
Oh yeah,
that thing was phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Their Piwo Grodziskie is crazy good, and I mean, I have. They used to release it in bottles. I kept the bottle you brought back for me. I have it's right there. It's up there on my back there. But it's in 16-ounce 4-pack cans now, which it's still. And I think I have a couple of them left. So
I need.
Yeah, I need them. But anyway, Schilling is just, and not only are they an amazing brewery, but they're an amazing place too. If you're anywhere near New Hampshire, like
venue.
if you're within 2 hours get in your car and drive the 2 hours.
Yeah.
All right.
And if you go,
and if you're anywhere within 6 hours, get in your car and drive the 6 hours.
I was going to say, if you go to Hill Farmstead and you don't go there, you're doing it wrong.
If you're anywhere in Vermont and you don't make a right and go over to New Hampshire and go to Littleton, you're doing it wrong. You need to get over there.
And for that matter, get up to Portland and go to Geary's and Allegheny.
Yeah.
Definitely
Go to Portland. Go to Geary's. Come around the block and go Industrial Way and go over to Allagash, and then stop and have some IPA fun across the street. But you know what? They're brewing some other beers, some other fantastic beers over there too. At the 3 or 4 breweries across the street from Allagash as well. I mean, they're not just. I mean, they're doing a lot of the hazies, but they're not just doing the hazies there as well. But yeah, Portland, please go up there. Go have fun.
We can list 30 breweries.
We can talk about Portland for an hour if we wanted to right now. Yeah. I was just talking to somebody this afternoon. I was just talking to somebody about Mass Landing, which is not in Portland, it's in Westbrook, which is right next to Portland. The
brewery that is the reason that all of the breweries in New England have to do a peanut butter stout.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Gunner's daughter. Captain's daughter is in Graysdale, but Gunner's daughter is delicious. But while the beer is fantastic at Mass Landing, the BLT is
as I drink my bacon.
Ridiculous. Am I wrong? Dave?
I didn't say you were wrong. I just think where you were going to go. The second you brought up Mass Landing, like here comes the BLT.
Did you have it?
Yeah, it
was it fantastic?
Good. Yeah, it's because the bacon's so damn good.
Because the bacon and the bread, the bacon, and the lettuce. Those 3 things made that sandwich.
The tomato needs to up its game. Fucking tomato.
No, everything was fantastic, but the excelling parts of that BLT were the bacon, the bread, and the lettuce.
There's 5 ingredients in a BLT.
The mayo aioli and the tomato and the black pepper. They put black pepper on. They were okay. They were good. They were good.
Up their damn game, slackers. But there's one brewery that does classic styles, and I extol their virtues, and I exhort John to get there anytime he's in the Boston area. He hasn't made it yet, but Brewery Sylvaticus.
Yep.
What they're doing there, their German and Czech styles are just. Actually, I think it's just all German.
It's all German styles.
It's all German styles.
He does all German styles.
It's all German styles with a Latin name. Sylvaticus.
Yeah.
It's not a German name. But it's their stuff is just, and every one of their beer servers knows how to pour them properly.
They do.
You will never.
And that's
see
important. And that's important. And that's cool too. That they're doing that.
It enhances the flavor of the beer when you get the right head on top of it.
Exactly.
And they know how to do it there.
I'm telling you, they know head.
They know head.
Brewery Sylvaticus. All right.
Oh, that must be the head brewer that does.
The head brewer. The head brewer knows head. Right, exactly.
They have a head brewer and a head pourer.
Oh, okay.
Right. Exactly.
So they, absolutely amazing.
100%. No, yeah. I mean,
I've
had the beer. We've had the owner on the show. I mean, it was 4 years ago we had him on the show, but I have yet to get to the brewery, and I'm remiss. I've been up there. I've been up there at least twice, if not 3 times since, and I have not gone to Amesbury.
It's a little bit off the beaten track.
It is. You got to be. Well, here's the thing too, because when we were in Portland, Jess and I went down to Boston. I could have stopped on the way, but we didn't.
It's a little swing out to the west a little.
Very, very slight.
Yep.
Very slight.
But they serve food now, so there's an extra.
There you go.
There's a little extra incentive to get there.
Okay. Well, we were going to the Red Sox game that night, so that's why we didn't have time to. We had to get in, check an hotel, and get to the. Fenway.
Staradumsky has a seal of approval for that.
There you go.
Yes.
We had to get there. You know, I had to be wearing my my Red Sox jersey and get in there and have my Fenway Frank and
your $25 hot dog,
my $25 Fenway Frank, and you know make sure I was in there, you know, in the middle of the 8th inning to sing Neil Diamond. So
I was going to say that the Red Sox.
And this is coming to you as a Met fan.
The Red Sox played in San Diego, and the San Diego PA announcer did one of the most amazing things ever, because late in the game, in the 8th inning, he starts playing Sweet Caroline. And all the Red Sox fans are up and they're singing and they're swaying. And then not even halfway through the first verse, he rickrolled them. And it was
I'd have paid money to see that. That's great.
Was the best rickroll ever. And to their credit, the Red Sox fans couldn't stop laughing. And a couple of them were going, God.
That's great. That's great. That's fantastic.
Nailed them to the.
Love it.
They were so happy, and then he goes right into Rick Astley.
Oh, I gotta love it. That's great. That's great. Let briefly, let's chat about some older U.S. breweries, if not elsewhere, but at least older U.S. breweries that have brewed classic styles along the way.
John mentioned Victory, right?
John mentioned Victory. I mentioned Dogfish Head with Burton Baton.
And some other stuff.
And well, yeah, Sam has brewed some other amazing stuff too.
But they did popularize the pumpkin ale.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't have a problem with it. Neither does John, because I think the three of us do the pumpkin show every year on this podcast. So.
One of us does it with his arm twisted behind his back.
But that's a modern take on a classic American style.
This is true. That's the classic American style. There you go. Pumpkin ale is. I mean, John.
There's no.
I haven't heard of any, like, in any books I've read or any historians I've talked to. I haven't heard of pumpkin ales being brewed in any other country.
No, there's a reason for that.
No, they had pumpkin shortages.
Exactly.
We actually have. Other than all of our bastardizations of stouts and IPAs, we do have 3 endemic American styles, and that's the pumpkin ale, the steam ale, or the California Common, and the Kentucky Common.
Kentucky Common, and then cream ale, which is
cream ale, right? Yeah. And cream ale, where someone decided
who brewed corn before we did, right? I mean, yeah.
Well, corn came from the Southwest maize, because. And it was invented here because someone forgot to open the tank and off gas at the right time.
Who hasn't drank a lot of Jenny Cream ever in the past? I mean,
Liboshanas, right? Little Kings.
Latrobe.
Yeah, I love it. But on the note, I want to bring up something else too. Valentine's Burton Ale.
Yeah.
That was. I don't think I ever had that.
That was, when they brought that back. What was it? Maybe like 12 years ago, John?
Yeah.
They brought that back.
It had to be around that time.
About 12 years ago, right? Something like 12, 13 years ago.
I still have a can.
Oh my God. That was fantastic. I actually was, the bar was run at the time. That was, I got, based on the history, I grabbed the case and I took most of it home. But I bought 2 sixtels of it. And we tapped one, and it was so good, I held the other one back for a special event. I thought you had some of it, Dave. I thought you had 381. I'm pretty sure you did.
Actually, it's the IPA I have. I don't have the Burton Ale.
You know,
what pizza do they wash it down with?
Probably the Jersey Sunset.
No, it was probably the pear one.
Oh yeah, the pear one was good. Or the Rocky Marciano with the sausage and the broccoli rabe.
That I liked one too. No, that one I didn't feel like. I'm not a big fan of broccoli rabe for that matter.
Gotcha. But the whatchamacallit, the Burton Ale was the IPA when they brought that back. Because it's an old school English IPA that Valentine did. And that was pretty tasty. But the Burton Ale, I mean, that was, that was the IPA on steroids, is what that was. It's just. It was fantastic. But did you have that at all, John, when they brought it back?
No, I didn't. I had the original though from the 30s.
You did have it. You know what? I was this close to being able to have some, and I didn't. I missed it. And it was well kept. I wasn't worried about botulism or anything.
No, it's got alcohol in it. I mean,
exactly.
Doug and I split a bottle. I got it on eBay. And It was bottled in the 30s. We drank it in the 90s.
Mhm.
We're both still here. Obviously, if you're going to age a beer, the goal is for it to it did not improve, but it had some interesting. I still remember to this day. It had some interesting like jet fuel burn finish characteristics to it.
I'm actually sad that you didn't have it when they released it. It was around the same time as the IPA when they brought that because
Yeah.
because
We never got it here though. That was the thing.
yeah
We did
yeah
get the IPA here, and I went and bought all I could get of that.
somebody's got to have some. I'm going to seek it out, John, and I'll get some because I want a little bit of it. I'll get you, Doug, and Dave, and if Tom's watching, of course, I'll send him one too. But I got to.
But if he's not, screw him.
If he's not, screw it. That's it.
Let me know. I'll pay. I'll chip in.
But yeah, I'll have to seek it out because it was really. It was. You remember drinking Burton Baton from Sam, right?
Yeah.
From Doctor's Head. This was as good but elevated even, and it was well brewed. And I was shocked because it was Pabst.
Yeah, right.
Well, it wasn't. It was Pabst that brought back, and it wasn't even Pabst at the time. It was the corporate company that bought Pabst and everything else.
The same people that rescued Twinkies,
right? That brought back Valentine. But it was so well brewed. It was really, really good. There you go.
The Valentine IPA was fantastic.
The Valentine IPA was fantastic too.
What a good job they did with that.
And Brian Bogue just said,
because Tom's not watching, you are.
Brian Bogue just said, I'll take Tom's bottle. There you go.
Tom can have a Malort instead. So.
Yeah, with his arm twisted behind his back.
I heard Tom really loves Malort.
So. Oh, he loves it so much.
Adores it. I got the barrel aged version of it now.
Yeah,
but they were out of the candy.
I gotta ask you what really quick, and not to prolong the show, but I need to ask you what's different about the barrel aged version.
It's a little smoother.
But are you getting any bourbon notes or anything? It's just a little smoother Malort. That's it.
It's a little smoother. You don't really get too many. You get some whiskey notes out of it, but not a lot. So there's like a little touch of caramel to it.
That's it.
Which smooths it out, but it is a little smoother.
Fair enough. All right. Cool. I mean, I would have been remiss if I didn't bring that up with the Burton Ale, but look, there's a lot of. I think I can wrap this up and add to it, please, both of you, by saying there's a lot of really good beer out there, and it's not just hazy New England IPAs.
Absolutely.
Seek it out, search it out, go try one. If you're going to a brewery and you're going there because you want to have a New England IPA, have at it. Enjoy what you like, but don't do yourself a disservice if the brewery you're at has a Pilsner or has an ESB or has a Schwarzbier or has any of these classic styles that we've been talking about. Try it. Get a taster.
And if you want some evidence as to this is the way things are going, some of these places that are known for their pastry stouts, known for their IPAs, and have been long, they've made their money that way.
Right.
They're turning this way. Treehouse is hitting these classic styles, and they're nailing it. They nailed it right out of the box.
And they did. And you know what? I just had this conversation with somebody today too. If I can't remember the last time I was at Treehouse in Charlton, Massachusetts, and had one of their hazies.
I haven't either. I always go towards their
I go right to their lagers, their English styles,
yep.
Some of their German styles, and then I'll wrap up my visit by going over and having a barrel aged.
Even if you can't get to the brewery, I mean, at the liquor store, at the supermarket, pick up a Great Lakes Edmund Fitzgerald Porter.
Edmund Fitzgerald Porter is
fantastic.
L.E.S. Amber Ale.
Dortmunder Gold.
Anderson Valley, Barney Flats Oatmeal Stout. Some of these breweries that are out there that are putting out classic styles, but these breweries have been around and they need our support too, 100%. So that they don't go the way that Anchor did.
100%. And then even breweries like Elder Pine, and they're newer. I mean, they're brewing hazies. But they're brewing ESBs. They're brewing. I had one. What was it last?
Anuda Brewing?
Not Anuda Brewing. No. They did a smoked Hellas
Yes,
Elder Pine. I gave you one. Did I give you one?
yeah, we drank it on the art. And
But you drank it on the show. I didn't.
Yeah,
You drank it on the show.
But also, we mentioned in a couple of weeks, I'm off to Rhode Island, and there's certain breweries I wanted to hit, and I was actually going to bypass Proclamation. Proclamation, they're a sour and an IPA house. But Doug Jones told me, no, they've gotten themselves into the lager game as well.
Yeah, they have.
So I need to stop there and see what they're doing and see if they're on fleek, as the kids used to say.
On fleek, yeah.
55 years ago, when that was a thing.
I think it was 55 weeks ago. I don't think it was 55 years ago.
I don't know why On Fleek disappeared. That was kind of a cool one. I like that one. My favorite one now is Yeet. I like Yeet.
Neat?
Yeet. Yeet.
Oh, Yeet. Oh, you know what? I can't keep up with it. I mean,
Yeet just means to throw something away.
It's not even. Forget about the millennials. It's not even Gen Z anymore. I mean, my kids are millennials and Gen Z. My kids
at the same time because they're time travelers.
Exactly. Well, no, two of my kids are. Yeah, I mean, well. My older daughter is a millennial, and my younger daughter, my son, are Gen Z. But it's the Gen Alpha is screwing up all of this lingo. I can't even figure it out anymore. I mean, I'm going to be an old man in saying that, Well,
my boys.
Let me make this caveat here. Okay, I'm an old man that I'm not blowing it off. Teach me. I'll use it. I'm good with it.
I use some of the terms. See, my boy. What generation are my boys? Dipshits. That's what they are. They're dipshits. Stories.
I love it.
Anyway, so where were we? Oh,
where were we? I think it's time for our top three.
Okay.
Top three list.
Which probably can be. You could probably just rewind the tape.
Just rewind the tape. Top three favorite classic beer. Well, no, we've all mentioned like 9. So we gotta pick the ones, right? So top 3 classic beer styles. So John, start us off. What's your 3, 2, 1?
So 3 is one that you really like is Old Ales, Yorkshire Ales.
Mm-hmm.
Those really malty styles of beer, classic English winter warmers. Probably one of my favorites is actually brewed here is Geary's Hampshire Ale.
Geary's Hampshire Ale is very good. Very good.
Then number 2 is Rauch beers, and of course Schlenkerla rules the roost.
Of course,
in that category. And then of course the very top is Doppelbox, and my favorite in the world is Augustiner Maximator. So
Maximator's so good.
Yeah.
So good. Oh my god. It doesn't get any better than the Augustiner Maximator.
I actually have some, and I just bought some more because I was worried with the tariffs that availability might become limited. So I just stocked up on a little more, but you can't have
fortunately, if the distributor that distributes to the stores has enough of it, the tariffs aren't going to affect it.
Yeah, if they have actually the price went up though. The price has already gone up $2.
That's your store.
Yeah, well,
that's your store.
It's either the store or the distributor, right? It all depends.
The distributor.
Gouging.
The distributor. I would look. It could be either. Yeah. I would bet money that it's your store.
But they wouldn't do it if the tariffs weren't in the pipeline and they knew it was coming. So it's ultimately the tariffs that are causing that.
And I'm not saying they're gouging. They're getting ahead of.
Yeah, they're getting ahead of the curve, and this is coming. But in some degrees, we're going to start see where this stuff is just not going to be brought into the country anymore. And that's my big worry with that one, because I
buy a case of what your favorite beer is, folks, and sit on it.
Yeah,
or 2.
Right. So someone else doesn't steal it. That have to knock you off.
And just a friendly word of warning: not an IPA. All right. You don't want to sit on an IPA unless it's Sierra Nevada Celebration. Then have at it.
Yeah,
you can enjoy that.
But Doppelbox, you can age that stuff.
You can age that for a long
time.
Fine. So. Just fine. Samurai.
Number 3, Tomave Pivos.
Tomave Pivos.
So that, I guess, makes a phenomenal one. Human Robot makes an incredible one. And as we mentioned earlier,
we talked about Schwarzbier, German word, meaning black beer. Tomave Pivo is a Czech word meaning
black beer.
Black beer. Oh, all right. Okay.
Same thing. very similar beers, slightly hopped a little.
Tomave
bitter than-
Pivo is a little less roasty, but that's about the only difference.
And it really depends on who's brewing it, because especially we're talking about American versions of Schwartz beer and Tomave Pivos. I've had Schwartz beers that are just almost chocolate bombs without a lot of roast to them, which means they've done it wrong. But that's fine.
This is a very good Schwartz beer. This one
I've
right
had
here.
that. That's actually a pretty damn good Schwartz beer. Yeah.
That's a good Schwartz beer.
Sean,
do you have any of this? You did not have this.
Not that one. No.
I have to get you some of this. There you go.
I didn't have any left.
Those of you listening to the audio podcast that feel left out, that's a Coastal Brew Works Vertical Migration Schwartz beer.
I didn't have any left that I could bring him, or I didn't have any left that I was willing to bring him.
You drank it up.
That'd be more accurate. Number 2, Creek. And for Creek, there's as far as I'm
Cripple Creek?
down on Cripple Creek.
Down on Cripple Creek?
You
Yeah.
send me. You send me. No. So Creek, as far as I'm concerned, there's really only 2 breweries involved there, and that, of course, is Cantillon, and the other being Dry Fontaine. Those 2, and there's been some arguments that Dry Fontaine might be better than Cantillon, which many people would say is sacrilege.
You know what? I'll be honest with you. I've had more Cantillons that I appreciate more than I do Trifontainen, but I've had some Trifontainens, but style-wise, for that particular beer, that I actually do like at least as much, if not a little better than Cantillon.
It depends, I think, of what's. Also, I think it depends upon the vintage as well, because let's face it, Lambics, they have a vintage. There's vintage to them. They're very wine-like in that matter.
You heard about the Belgian brewer who was making a fruit beer and couldn't stir the mash, right?
Go ahead.
He was up the creek without.
He was up the creek without a paddle. I knew it. Don't forget to tip your bartenders, folks.
So my number
I'll
1,
be here all week.
as I mentioned, was Stout.
Or all creek.
Well, number 1 is Stout. And if we're going to go to the classics, Samuel Smith.
Yeah.
So Samuel Smith's Imperial Stout is the Imperial Stout you measure all else against. When you talk about the classic version of it, not the doctored versions that we have, all the different ways all the different blasphemies we have imparted upon this particular style, for better or worse. There's that, and then when you come into the United States as far as stouts are concerned, well, then before we even do that, before we get there, you just go a little west, and you've got to tip your hat to what the Irish did with it, the Guinness, just one of the greatest beers existing on the planet. And for those who have been to an American pub and had a Guinness and that's not very good, it's like, well, you've never really had Guinness. So there's that, and then Great Divide's Yeti. Great Divide's Yeti to me is one of the greatest beers brewed in this country.
Which is a shame, and it's sad that you brought that up because
you don't get it here.
I don't know if you see what's going on with Great Divide.
Yeah,
they're
they're not going anywhere. They're closing the tap room, but they're still going to brew.
But who's going to brew?
But they're brought out, right? They're
Yeah, so that's a crying shame, because that was one of my favorite beers ever.
Well, I mean, it remains to be seen. The beers may not change. I mean,
you never know. You never know.
Sweetwater got bought out from a company in Canada, and they really haven't changed.
Yeah. And Goose Island got bought out, and the beers there. Oh,
well, I don't know. I mean, I think
the Bourbon County Stouts. I mean, they're still involved, right? The brewery in Chicago is still involved in the Bourbon County.
But Urban Wheat is just disgusting.
The brewery in Chicago does not brew Urban Wheat.
Yeah,
but
and the
brews Urban Wheat.
The IPA is undrinkable.
You just never know what's going to. I think I told you guys this last show or the show before that, but one of my favorite. I talked about the classic West Coast IPAs and how well they're done in Western North Carolina. And one of the breweries that did them and does them extremely well is Appalachian Mountain Brewery, and their Longleaf IPA. And they were bought out by Anheuser-Busch. And I don't know, 6 months, a year ago, they bought themselves back. So now they're independent again.
Excellent.
The quality of the beer never changed the entire time. it was still amazing. So
You know what? Most
Because they couldn't send
John,
anybody out into
most
those
of
woods and not be met by shotguns.
most of those, not all, but most of those purchases by Anheuser-Busch or AB InBev, if you will, buying up breweries, all right? Most, not all, but most were distribution deals.
yes,
So the breweries were still involved in the brewing of the beer. So the quality of the beer, most of the time didn't change. When Bud got involved with, hey, you know what? We can get you better. We get you more. We can get you cheaper grain. We can get you cheaper this. We can get you, use this instead of that. When they started getting involved with that, then some of the beers, and that's what happened to Goose Island. That's what happened to, and it pains me to say, and not that it was an amazing beer, but it was a solid staple that was local here, and that's Blue Point Toasted Lager. Blue Point Toasted Lager is nowhere near what it was 10 years ago.
But they have bought themselves back as well.
I
thought they did.
No.
Toasted Lager and the Mother Pumpkin not too long ago, and they were both.
I thought they had. I thought they were
pretty
one of the
good
breweries that bought
still.
themselves back.
Well, I mean, let's put it this way: if they did, and if I'm wrong, and which I could be wrong, because it's not like I pay attention to AB InBev's purchasing and mergers and shit every day, right? But if Blue Point did, kudos to them, but they haven't changed back to what they were brewing Toasted Lager to be since they bought it back.
Oh, what it was, it's not that they bought it back. They were one of the brands sold to Tilray.
Oh, Tilray now owns Blue Point. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. Yeah, Tilray now owns it.
They were sold to Tilray.
Yeah, you're right. But what Bud changed the recipe to Toasted Lager. And again, it's not like it was the best beer since sliced bread, but it was solid. And I enjoy drinking Toasted Lager. I went out to a bar.
An unintentional pun?
Yeah, sliced bread and toasted lager as well.
I see what you did there. See what I did there, not even knowing I did
You
it.
didn't even
Right?
know you did it.
but yeah, it's a shame what that beer is now.
Oh, I loved Toasted Lager. I actually really enjoyed it.
It was very good. By the way, I opened a fourth beer. Shocker. John's on the show, and I opened a fourth beer. And I went back to another Von Trapp Schwartz beer. Shocker. I'm opening a Schwartz beer.
All the talk about dark beers, black beers, and John just couldn't help himself. He had to.
There you go. I had to.
No, you only had one.
I did. I only had one.
Well, you had four now.
I now have four. Yeah,
Four,
I had four.
but
I had a
only
Kolsch.
one of
I had an
that's
ESB. I had a quad decocted Doppelbock. And now I have a Schwartz beer. So I'll do my top three.
When
Here we
you
go.
drank your quad decocted Doppelbock, did you have your pinky out?
I had my quad decocted Doppelbock. John, you opening a fourth?
I am. I actually had put this one aside, especially to your point about breweries that do such a great job. You mentioned Schilling, so I had the. This is their Vinox beer, which is a double bock.
Had that one.
And I bought a 4-pack last fall, and it's just amazing. And of course, double bock. There it is, my favorite style.
Put the can up on the screen. So.
Sorry.
Put the can up.
It's backwards.
There you go. That's their Vinox beer. Nice. And I've been trolling eBay for a Schilling glass too, and they're scarce as hen's teeth. But this is an old Nutfield, which is a New Hampshire classic Ringwood brewer. I don't know if you guys remember Nutfield, but
Nutfield. I
they were
remember
big
Nutfield
in the 90s.
Yeah.
And,
so you can't find a Schilling glass? Is that what you're saying?
No, they're not on eBay. Other half, Schilling.
You can order directly from their website, I believe.
Oh, straight from the brewery?
Get this Schilling glass. This is like the best one. This is so good.
I have that one. I like that one. But John, you know full well this is my favorite Schilling glass.
That is your favorite Schilling glass. That is.
It's actually one of my favorite glasses.
And it's embossed too. It's not.
Yeah, it's dimpled and that's embossed. This is probably my favorite. This is probably you probably see me drink out of this glass more on the show than any other glass.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, you've probably seen me drink out of my Von Trapp same glass, right? But
I think you drink. I think other than the Coastal Brewers glass, I think the glass that you drink most out of on the show is the mechanical.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, you drink out of the mechanical.
I do.
Willie Becker. Well, it's the Willie Becker, right? But I mean, and I drank out of two Willie Beckers tonight too. My Treehouse and my.
And surprisingly, it wasn't a mechanical.
And it wasn't mechanical, right? But in any event, I'll do my top three. And now neither of you did an honorable mention.
No,
So because neither of you did an honorable mention,
you're going to do 5.
I'm going to do 3. But I'll blow through them, right? My 3 honorable mentions are Doppelbox, English brown ales, and English dark miles. Those are my 3 honorable mentions. So now to my top 3. My number 3, and I poured it because of that, is a Schwarzbier right here, German Schwarzbier. Do I love Tomabe Pivos? Of course I love Tomabe Pivos, but I like a little bit more roast. Just a touch more roast, so I'm more partial to the Schwarzbier than I am to the Tomabe Pivo. Hold on, I need to take a sip of my Schwarzbier.
Now it's number 2.
That's yeah, all right.
Let's move on.
My number 2 is an English Old Ale, and it's John's number 3. All of those beers, they're it's fantastic, and I will bring this up. It was. I got to find it, and I'm gonna ramble a little bit here, and both of you, please feel free to.
You want us to talk? You want us to say
help me
you
out.
You want us to say
by
Slotch and Doug Smith?
talking.
You didn't never notice this comment.
Oh, I didn't notice this comment. You're
Yeah,
right, I didn't.
So, Doug, can you see the shirt? I'm sure Doug.
Well, first of all, hold on. Brian Boak did say his third beer, his English Mild, the Boak's English Mild, which you and I both had. Well, I had a couple times last year. You had it at the one tailgate party. And Doug Smith, Slancha, Doug.
So, I'm sure Doug can see the shirt I'm wearing because tonight Doug knows I'm going to Rhode Island, so he's giving me some pointers. And Doug, we're both Lovecraft fans, so.
Yes.
Without beer in it, you can't really see the logo too well, can you?
It's hard, right?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. So Dave, you mentioned Great Divide before.
Did I?
Yes, you did.
Oh, I did.
Their Hibernation Ale is an old ale.
That's good.
Yes.
Such a good beer. And on that old ale, or that stock ale, if you will, old stock ale from North Coast, it's still available.
Oh God,
Get
North
it.
Coast.
That beer is amazing, and it gets more amazing the longer you sit on it. So
it does. It's excellent. I what did I just have? There was they did a special version for their sister city in Japan for the tsunami victims, or
really,
I think it was.
I didn't know that.
Oh, and it was like 10 years old, and I just drank it probably 6 months or a year.
Oh, was it the barrel aged version? It was in the 500 ml bottles.
It was a cork 750 with a little pamphlet on it. I've got it on my website.
Really?
I
Cool.
can't think of the name of it right now, but it was so good. It was like 10-year-old bottle, and oh God, that was
if you're listening to anything we say, okay, if you're anywhere and you happen to come across a 4-pack of North Coast Old Stock Ale, get it.
And then give John one.
Give me one. I have some and I can get more, but
Man, that's one.
get it. No. Get it. Have one right away and put the other 3 away. And then a year later, hang on, Dave. A year later, have the second. A year later, have the third, and a year later, have the fourth. I promise you, at somewhere in those 3 years, you will buy more 4-packs of the old stock ale.
and get some old Rasputin. You're at it.
I
too.
get some old Rasputin there.
Well, old Rasputin, Prankster, and Brother Thelonious.
Brother
Yeah.
Thelonious, yeah.
Yeah.
And Red Seal. Red Seal was another.
Red Seal's good too, yeah.
But there's
And
no
you know what?
Rasputin.
Scrimshaw Pills is not a bad pill.
Yeah.
Grimshaw's was pretty damn good, but Old Raspy, all the different variations, all the different ways Old Raspy.
North Coast is one of those classic styles,
Yeah,
classic
well,
breweries.
I'm
They're
glad you
just
brought
making
up-
just making the beers. They're old styles, and you know I didn't think of it until I was talking about that. They're one of those classic breweries that are just making old styles and hanging their hat on them and enjoying it, and they're surviving and they're doing their thing, and pay them some respect because they're making some classic styles, making some very, very well brewed classic styles.
And I get old Raspy pretty regularly.
Mm-hmm. Those are good. There's bourbon barrel aged old Raspy too.
Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that have.
That wasn't for you. That was for people listening to them.
They're the ones that have Roman numerals after them.
This is true.
I found it. It was called North Coast Old Stock Ale Atsuchi 2012. It was a bottle from 2012.
Oh my God. Oh yeah, because that's when the tsunami was. So that makes sense. That yeah.
And I drank it in 2024, and it was like killer.
And an old it was Chinese or Japanese seer has blind predicted that Japan's going to hit by a tsunami again this year.
We hope not. But
let's hope he's wrong.
Yes.
All right.
But yeah.
Let's hope she's wrong.
Yeah,
all right.
Absolutely.
So, and then my number one is
I know what it is.
What?
Stickeralt.
Stickeralt. Yeah. Stickeralt. And my favorite Stickeralt, Dave.
Shut up.
No. I'm gonna get. Hold on.
Well, wait a second. Stick and Jab was one of your favorites.
No. My second, honestly, I can't even say my second. It's probably my third or fourth or fifth. My third or fourth or fifth Stickeralt is Stick and Jab from Heavyweight.
Stick and Jab. Yeah.
Heavyweight Brewing, formerly of New Jersey. I mean, they closed 20 years ago, right? But my favorite Stickeralt is Urige. Urige.
I will never drink it again.
Okay. Now, this bottle, I saved this bottle for a specific reason. This is, if you've heard me talk about the time, and John, I think you've heard about the time, where Dave and I were at Navarre Res in Portland, Maine.
Right after COVID.
Right after the pandemic. And their amazing bottle list that Navarre Res is known for is
May.
They were out, and it's the first time Dave was there, right? And they were out of a lot of bottles. So finally, I ordered a Urige Stickeralt, right? And Dave says, and she brings me over mine. And
After
Dave said
me 4 times that the beer I ordered they were out of.
They were out of. So Dave says, you know what? I'll just have a Urige Stickeralt too. She said, this was the last bottle.
And that's the bottle in his hand right there.
So Dave did get a little of this bottle. I was not an asshole. He did get a little of it, right?
No, I think you offered it to me. I went, no, I don't.
No, you had some. Shut up.
No, I think I went, I don't want it now.
Oh, you had some. So
he saved the bottle just to rub it in my face.
I saved the bottle because it's my favorite Stickeralt of my favorite classic style, and it holds a special place in my heart for that particular instance. So,
hey, did I mention that I had Aventinus on tap?
I know. Doug Smith commented, "Love the shirt, Dave."
Who doesn't?
There you go. And he also said, "So Stock Ale, a real style." There you go. And then he said, "North Coast, a great old brewery, Anderson Valley too. Anderson Valley too. Balhornen."
They made up their own language.
They made up their own language. If you live in Anderson Valley or around it, then Balhornen is a greeting that people say to each other when they're walking down the street. Balhornen, and that's what that's the at least years ago. I can't say that that is what they do now. I can only imagine they do, but I can speak for 10 plus years ago. Anderson Valley, on every label that they made for all their beers, it said Balhornen on it. So
I never saw a earth sign with antlers called the beer. That's Anderson Valley as well.
100%. And Doug just said, alt beer is a great style. Brew Guru and I were just talking about it. Conrad Seidel brought Brew Guru some Urige from Germany in the early 90s.
He came over and he brought the Sticker.
That beer is so good.
You couldn't get it here at the time, and I this is why I have my website, because as I get old and I can't remember shit anymore, I can go back to my reviews. Right?
It's not for anybody else. It's for you.
It's for me. Right? The hell with the rest of you. But and GoDaddy loves it because I pay him all this money for hosting fees. But anyway, he brought us a bunch of beers, and we sat at Trinity Brew House in Providence and drank beer with Conrad Seidel, and just a great guy. He's one of my most revered beer writers, other than, of course, Jackson's at the top. But
Trinity's for sale now.
Yep. So
I think the three of us need to work on a book. I'm game for it.
In at the beginning, the history of craft beer.
We're never going to be able to top Marty's book, though.
Oh, well, who is? Marty Nacho,
writing a book on brewery experience.
And he actually emailed me today. I got some work to do, so I got to get cracking on the American the Hall of Fame stuff. But
Well, with the three of us and Doug, I don't know. We got some pretty good experience.
well, no, absolutely.
Oh,
I think the three of us, Doug and
Tom, right?
Tom, and yeah, I mean,
And I think we need to get those 5 together. Maybe add Brian Boak in there, and maybe
Brian
go
Boak,
and buy
Rod.
Trinity.
There's all these stories we've got.
We should go buy Trinity.
So,
If amongst all
Beer-
of us we can't top his book, we're going to make some shit up and do it too.
we're gonna make some shit up and do it. Yeah.
There you go.
Well, the title about craft beer as told by a bunch of old OGs.
Old drunks. Yes.
Old OGs, old drunks, six potato. There you go. But yeah, no, that's fantastic. But yeah, that your Age Stickle is just that's my Grail beer. I didn't. By the way, just a disclaimer, I didn't see that on the menu until I ordered it. Because if I had seen it on the menu before I ordered the other 2 beers that I ordered that she was out of, I would have just gotten that in the first place, right? But yeah, no offense to Navarre Rez up in Portland, they always and do right now have an amazing bottle list as well as
when we were there.
When we were there, it was the tail end. It was August
There
of
was
21.
distribution had stopped. They had
4
run out of
years
everything.
ago, and they hadn't been getting distro, and they hadn't gotten the bottles that they had. They're one of Oxbow's show places for a lot of their bottles.
Well, I got to tell you that true story. But when Conrad Seidel, he actually had the rental car, and he got to Trinity, and Doug and I were there, and he popped open the trunk, and we saw all these beers and the shtick of alt, and we were like, if the shtick is not for us, we're going to roll this son of a bitch.
See, that needs to go in the book, John.
Yes, that's going in the book.
That's going in the book
because it's totally true, right? Actually, he did open the trunk, and we saw all those beers, but they were for.
There you
go.
He had right into the Usahonic.
Doug just said, "Want to talk about cannabis infused beer, Dave?"
Only if you pay me.
There you go. And he said, "I've got some business proposals if you're interested."
You got to GoFundMe for snacks.
There you go.
Got any snacks?
Snacks. Anyway, all right. This was fantastic. Look, anybody listening, seriously, write us in if you have any questions about any classic beer styles. All 3 of us and Doug too, and I'm sure I can speak for Brian and Tom, who did like the show a couple minutes ago, but he may be watching as far as I know because there's a bunch of people watching, but Brian too. We'd be more than happy to guide you through any selections or anything like that. Like I said, and Dave and John can concur with me, or call me an idiot, one or the other. But yeah, go out and enjoy your beer.
Call you an idiot.
Of course you are. But go out and enjoy your beer. Go out and enjoy the beer you want. If you want hazies, have at it. Enjoy them. If you like pastry stouts, if you like pastry sours, if you like kettle sours.
Stouts or pastry stouts?
Pasty stouts. Yeah, pasty
yeah,
stouts.
Pasty.
Well, no, pastry stouts. You start out by having pastry stouts, and then eventually you keep drinking them. You get pasty stouts, right? But in any event, but yeah, please don't shy away from classic styles. They're fantastic. They're fantastic for a reason. Don't do yourself
this long for a reason,
right? Don't do yourself a disservice. Have a few.
And there's a reason why some of your meccas are starting to turn to them.
Absolutely. Have a few. Get if they're on tap. If you're fortunate enough to be somewhere that some of these are on tap, have a few. I've talked about this on the show before. We've had them on the show. Our Town Brewing, Lancaster, Pennsylvania. They make an amazing dark mild. When I walked in there, they had 24 beers on tap. I had a dark mild. Then the bartender came over when I finished. He says, "What do you want next?" I said, "A dark mild." I had 6 dark miles that day. Okay. I tasted every other beer because he was not happy with the fact that I was only drinking the dark mild. So you have to taste this, and that'll happen, right?
He called him an idiot.
Yeah,
he did. And then he came on the show, and
and go read every book Michael Jackson ever wrote, because if you want to learn about classic styles, The Beer Companion, The World Guide to Beer, The Great Beers of Belgium, there's no better way to learn about classic styles and really to learn about beer. I mean, than to read Michael Jackson.
The classic styles are beer.
Yeah. Yep. There you
Oh,
go.
Everything
yeah,
stems
I mean,
out of
both of these gents are right. Read Michael Jackson and Dave. There's no better way to learn about it. And Dave is right. Their classic styles are beer. So
So every
that's
other-
we would not have New England IPAs and fruited
Everything else
sours
came
right
out of it.
now if we did not have these classic styles first.
Yep.
So, yeah, don't do yourself a disservice. Enjoy them. Try them. You will enjoy them. Some of you might not enjoy some of them, and you'll enjoy others. It doesn't matter. Everybody's palate's different, but you can't not do it. Doug, just one more. Where did I put that one up already? So did it already. Anyway, all right.
Sounds like someone's dog needs to go out.
She wants to come in.
She wants to come in. There you go.
Gotcha.
All right. John, stick around for a second. On that note, we will wrap up the show for today. We want to thank everybody for watching. And for those of you just listening to the audio podcast, thank you for listening. Don't forget to visit our website, www.loggerroom.com. That's LEGEROOM.com. And please remember, like us and follow us on all of our social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course our YouTube channel. All of them are at The Logger Room. Remember, we go live with the video podcast on Facebook, YouTube, X, and Twitch every Tuesday night around 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And for those of you who just want to listen to the audio podcast, you can do so on our audio host, Spreaker, as well as iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Odyssey, Audible, Pandora, Amazon Music Podcast, iTunes Music, YouTube Music, TuneIn, Podcast Addict, CastBox, Deezer, Podchaser, Listen Notes. Pretty much anywhere you can find an audio podcast, you will find the Log Room Guys Craft Beer Podcast. Dave's taking points off of my your score already. There you go. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to one or more of those feeds, and you will never miss a show. Again, thanks for following along with us. Have a great rest of your week. Have a wonderful weekend. John, thank you so much for coming on. This is an amazing show. I love doing these shows with you, John. The next one you're going to be on, we'll talk about it when we sign off already. But obviously, we'll have our Christmas in July show coming up in the next month and a half.
Love that.
6-8 lower than last week. How? I sucked last week. This was much better.
You lost 2 whole points by forcing the snap.
Oh,
It was not natural whatsoever. You were so
forget about the snap. I actually did have an 8-8 if it wasn't for the snap.
If it wasn't for you just completely forcing that snap, it was forced.
All right, fair enough. But all right, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it in a second. Anyway, again, thanks for following us. Have a great rest of your week. Have a wonderful weekend. Drink a lot of beer, but drink responsibly. And we will talk to you next week, folks. Take care. Cheers.
Cheers.